For a better NFL game day experience.
Penny is lined up wide to the left. Geno's going to run a quarterback draw, and he's going to walk in. Touchdown, Seahawks! Handoff goes to Penny, breaks away, there he goes, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Way to go! Touchdown, Seahawks! Rashad Penny. I'm looking for a flag. I don't see one. Again, the Lions thinking pass. Shane Waldron says, let's run it. Let's give it to 20. He goes 41 for 6.
Got to find a way to get 10 points down, 10, 5.5 to go. Goff on third down, floats it left side. Got Hawkinson. Yes. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. There it is. What a day for TJ Hawkinson.
How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your action? What's on the game day menu? The Bettor Zone is the place to celebrate your passion for football on Bettor Sports Network.
Let's do it. It's Holden. It's Pilar. We got a full day of football complete. We got a big night of football ahead. We got 3 games going on. I got a massive sweat. I know Pilar, we came in with all those Seahawks Lions highlights. Pilar, I know you had a pretty good day with that one, even though you liked the Lions.
No, we lost.
Who cares? Didn't you win a bet?
I did win a bet.
Who cares? They lost.
I took the over 59 on that one. So that worked out in my favor. But still, I mean, it's still heartbreaking when they lose, but it was an exciting game. What did I learn from this? Actually, not me. I feel like I've already been saying this since last year. But what has been confirmed for all of us today, Geno Smith is the number 1 fantasy producing quarterback. Start everybody against the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
I mean, we make them all look good. Start your running backs, start your quarterbacks. I don't care who your quarterback is. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky needs to play against like the Lions.
To win his job back?
Yes, this is how terrible I feel our defense is. We will make anybody look good. So Geno Smith, congratulations, number 1 fantasy quarterback right now.
What'd you get the total at, Pilar?
Pardon?
What'd you get that total at?
Where did DraftKings?
No. What was the number?
Oh, 59.
59, and it ended up with 93 points.
At halftime, I thought I was going to get a little risky, right? And I go on DraftKings. I like what I see. So I get on my husband's account because I felt like I was getting a little bit risky and didn't want to do this myself.
That's great.
Didn't want to play with my money. So get on his account. His passwords have been changed, by the way. I had to text him and tell him to set some lineups for me.
That's great. That's great.
So there was a lot going on in our household today. First off, why did you change your DraftKings passcode on me?
Did he?
Yes, he did. He 100% did.
Why?
He said he couldn't remember it. He said, I mean, total typical answer. He couldn't remember it, so he just had to reset it. But I am kind of notorious for sometimes if I don't want to bet on my own money, I will bet with his money.
I like that. I think that's a brilliant plan.
I think so too. Sometimes he does not. And I think he got smart to it. And I think he overheard me getting kind of excited about the halftime bets with you last week. And I think he was like, I don't know, she might get a little crazy this week. And I got my feet wet on the halftime bets and I had a lot of fun with it. So I sent him the picks that I want. So I took the over on the Detroit Lions halftime. That worked out for me. I did take the over on the Jacksonville Eagles at 51. So close.
Yeah.
It was 50 total. The total was 50. That one was so close, but close isn't enough. I was wrong. And then I did take the under on the Washington Dallas game at 39. They had 35. So I did win that one too. And then, yes. Yeah. What's even better is that this is like a surprise box, a surprise like treasure chest, because I don't know how much he put the bets in for. He just said bets are in. So I don't know how much it's going to be because I'm going to have to share my money with him because it's his money that he bet. But on the Chargers-Texan game, so at halftime, Chargers were leading 21-0. I like the odds. Texans were at plus 23 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I like it. I said this last week on the show. That is what I like. Give me those all day long. So I went on that. And so I won that one, but I did take the under. Thank you. I did take the under for the under 50. I didn't think it was going to be a very high scoring game, and it was. So yeah, it was a fun day for me. Fun day for me in the halftime bets.
Good. I'm happy. That's what it's about. Last week I had to twerk because my halftime bet sucked. This week I'm on a roll. We got a lot to get to here. I'll let you in on what I'm doing. I'm sweating out a big DFS day too. If you are watching right now or listening, you want to type it in. Hey, give us some comments. We love to hear from you. We love feedback. Plus, if you really want to get crazy, go search around for the fun button because it's really fun. It's absolutely amazing. Love the fun button, Pilar. There's nothing better. I am just glued. Oh my God, was that a catch? Holy moly! Was that my boy, Mac Hollins?
Which game are you watching?
All right, I'm all over Denver.
Who are you sweating?
Denver and
Raiders.
The Raiders. Okay, so all my parlays or all my teasers had to do with the Texans, the Titans, and the Broncos. So the Texans, thank God, they could have lost by 11.5 or less. When you're teasing, what you're doing is you're adding 6 points onto whatever total. So going into that game, the Texans were 5.5 point dogs. So plus 5.5. When you tease it up to plus 11.5. With the Broncos, they were 2.5 point dogs. Teased at 6 points. With the Texans, that makes them 8.5 point dogs. So it gives you a little wiggle room there, Pilar. So listen, I'll be sweating that out today. I need the Broncos to lose or by 8.5 or less. Please tell me this was a touchdown. That would make me so happy. Incomplete pass. That sucks. So here's the deal. Also, I got a $50 entry on DraftKings. I'm sitting in 7th place right now, $400. I'm only 17 points out of winning $1,500. And I'm so far ahead of everybody else right now that if Cortland Sutton continues to do what he's doing and Mac Hollins, if that damn touchdown would have counted, that would have made my life a lot sweeter. But my big bet today is Cortland Sutton over 67.5 yards. Pilar, he's right now, 3 catches, 25 yards. So that'll be the big one. Cortland Sutton's the one. I don't want to have to twerk this week, but this is going to be my go-to. Cortland Sutton, he hits over 60. If he gets 68 yards or more, no twerking. Hopefully you'll do the twerking, but I really don't want to do that this week. But ultimately, the boss wants it.
I feel like I am the worst dancer in America.
Good.
Okay. There's all kinds of videos on me trying to dance and it just doesn't work. So I actually think that people would prefer to see you twerk than me twerk. So
nice try.
So we'll
nice try. You can go sideways, unlike me last week, giving a full moon.
You did. You went like full moon. Full moon.
Not good.
So I don't know. For everybody out there watching the show, let us know, who are you sweating today? What were the big bets that you got in on? Did they pull through for you? Did they not pull through for you? What's on the dinner menu for tonight? Mine last week was really good. This week,
not so good. No.
No.
What is it? What are you eating?
No.
What is it? Popcorn?
Leftover gluten-free vegan pizza.
That sounds awful. Why are you doing that?
Because I don't eat dairy, and I like the veggie pizzas, and I avoid gluten. So
okay,
yeah. So I mean, it's whatever, but yeah, it was even worse because it was leftover from last night. So.
The Better Boss. I don't know if the Better Boss is puking from me twerking last week or from hearing your dinner. That just sounds absolutely awful. That's all I could say. If I take home this first prize tonight, $1,500, I'm going to go order in probably from like McCormick and Schmick's or something like that. Anything less, maybe it'll be a cereal night. Touchdown, Josh Jacobs, by the way. Cha-ching. That's in there. Name that game. Name that game, Pilar.
I wouldn't know.
Tecmo Bowl.
What is it?
Bowl. You know what? I keep forgetting I'm a lot older than you. Tecmo Bowl.
I was almost going to say, I don't know, Pac-Man. It sounds like they're
Yeah, it was very close. It was Tecmo Bowl. But hey, why don't you pick out one of these quarterbacks that I'm going to talk about here for the leaderboard, okay? It's time for us to do the leaderboard. You want to talk about any of these guys, we'll do it. But Jared Goff leading the way today. Of course, Jared Goff and Geno Smith are the top 2 scoring quarterbacks. Of course they are. Goff today, 378, 4 touchdowns, a pick, ran for yard, 33.22. Geno Smith, 31.7. Josh Allen, after an awful start today for the Bills. Boy, they came back, had a great comeback there, 23.5 points. Daniel Jones on a hobbled foot, 21.64. And then Justin Herbert missing rib cartilage, 21.1. It all goes back to your game with the Seahawks and the Lions, Pilar.
I mean, the fact that Jared Goff and Geno Smith were the only 2 quarterbacks so far this week that have scored over 25 fantasy points for us. Like, where's the hope for us next season when we draft our fantasy leagues? Like, but it was just, honestly, this is a fluke. Don't even read into this. I feel this is just the byproduct of 2 teams that we're going to run up the scoreboard because the defenses just aren't able to stop anything. So to be expected, did I think that it was going to be the top 2 quarterbacks? No way. No way. Maybe Geno Smith would have been in the top 4, top 5, but no way. Did I think that he was going to outscore Jalen Hurts? No, absolutely not. I mean, this is just crazy. Lamar Jackson, like what? No. This is not right.
Yeah, Lamar did not look good today either. He was very discombobulated. And that was a game. Remember last week where I screwed up with Kyler Murray? I did it with Josh Allen today, and he just kept going and going and going. So that was good. Games will be coming up at halftime, and just let's see here. Do we have one? Arizona and the Panthers. So we can go talk about maybe some betting strategy, in-game betting strategy there. But Pilar, let's keep rolling on here. And again, we'll sweat with you if you want to throw something in the comments box. Find that fun button. It's a lot of fun. So at running back, 0.5 point PPR. That's what we'll use here. All right, Pilar, 28.9 points. Who is the leading scorer at running back this week?
Well, I've got Austin Eckler, but this is
PPR.
This is full point PPR. So he's leading by quite a bit. I've got him at almost 35 fantasy points. Yep. This is what we were expecting, though. If it didn't happen for Austin Eckler this week against Houston, you were almost going to be tempted to give up on him.
Yes. It's early, but you know what? It's getting late, and you're right. They had to get going here against the Texans. He goes for just 13 carries again in the offseason. He asked for less carries. He's getting it. 60 yards, caught 6 of 7 targets, 49 yards. He ended up scoring 3 total touchdowns, 28.9. What'd you say? It's like 35 something in PPR. Rashad Penny. Just basically, if you had anything from the Seattle-Detroit game, Rashad Penny, 27.7, runs for 151 and a touchdown. This is a guy that doesn't even get work in the passing game. Miles Sanders. Nasty weather in Jacksonville. Actually doing an up to lock show. My guy's like, man, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I got to get AJ Brown out of my lineup. I said, if you want to do that, you better put Miles Sanders in there. And Miles Sanders had a nice day. 27.6, 0.5 point PPR. Jamal Williams, 22.9. The Derrick Henry, the King, 20.7. He looked very fresh today. Pilari had a touchdown called back. He went 22 for 114, 5.2 yards per carry, and they actually threw him the ball 3 times for 33 yards. So King Henry too. If you were worried about Austin Eckler, don't be as worried. If you were worried about Derrick Henry, I think it should quell your fears a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. There's guys that I'm looking at the guys that let us down today too in there.
The losers. We'll get to the losers. We'll get to let's finish the winners. We'll come back and talk about the losers. I'm not ready for anyone to rain on my parade yet.
All right, keep talking about your winners.
Come on, you got winners too. Give me a break. You hit that.
So I was big on Jamal Williams this week. I was really big on Jamal Williams.
There you go.
Just because I love Jamal Williams. I would love to see him as a starting running back on a team every single week. I love him. But I had a lot of shares in him because I did have Swift. And so I'm big on handcuffing. So I did have him starting in every single one of my leagues. I did have him in daily. Jamal Williams was like the one that it was a set it and forget it type thing for me. And plus too, like I felt like, with Detroit having kind of just been riddled with injuries offensively, it was just going to be more Jamal Williams. I was expecting more TJ Hawkinson, not as much TJ Hawkinson as we got today, that's for sure, but a little more.
Well, the reason why we were talking him up earlier this week was because their offensive coordinator came out and said the day is coming, like the breakout's coming. And by the way, huge catch by Jerry Jeudy here inside the 15. So Jerry Judy's actually alive. But as I say that, this was the week for Hawkinson. All their wide receivers were down, right, Pilar?
Yeah.
All your big ones were. No Amon-Ra, no DJ Chark. So they struggled. And speaking of that, we've got, I think, wasn't Jamal Agnew up there with the Lions at one point in time? Jamal Agnew of the Jacksonville Jaguars is the third leading scorer at wide receiver. Half-point PPR again, half-point PPR, 17. He went for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns today, Pilar.
Wow.
Who led the way? Justin Jefferson this morning with his 21 points. They just peppered him. 13 targets, 10 catches, 147 yards. That is not an easy secondary to tear up either that they were going against with New Orleans. So Jefferson leads it. T. Higgins the other night at 18.4. Agnew 17. Tyreek the other night 15.9. How about what's going on with the Cowboys?
I was going to say, you got to give a shout out to CeeDee Lamb.
Oh,
I mean,
15.7. Yeah. 6 catches, 75 and 6 catches, 97 and a touchdown. You love it, huh?
I do. I mean, I honestly was so afraid when we got hurt and we were like, oh, great. Hopefully
here we go again.
5, there's talks, he's eyeing it. But I mean, it was one of those things where I felt bad for anybody that had any shares of the Dallas Cowboys. It's like you can't really, any running backs, wide receivers, I don't care who it was. I was like, this is just bad news bears all around, but it's actually okay. It is okay. CeeDee Lamb, I've got him in my league in top 5.
For those of us that thought CeeDee Lamb was in trouble because Cooper Rush was there, he's not. Now there's a debate. Is Cooper Rush better than Dak Prescott? I don't think just purely as a quarterback he is, but you talk about the top backups in the league. Cooper Rush right there at the top right now. We had Andy Dalton this morning. I can't stand Andy Dalton, but he definitely kept his team in the game. Did you see that field goal at the end of the game? Will Lutz, it hits both crossbars from 61 yards. Boop. Okay. Yes. And he had just hit a 60-yarder. That was pretty cool too.
Yeah. So. I kind of like seeing Andy Dalton in there. I don't know. But I personally think that Andy Dalton, if he's put in the right situation, I don't know if this is going to be the right situation, but I feel like he's got something left in the tank.
I'm never doing drugs again.
Why would anybody say that? So let's talk about the
clearly somebody did not like me saying that. I think that Andy Dalton still has one more year as a starter that can actually make a difference in the tank. That's why.
All right. Pilar, I'm freaking out here. I got a 3rd and 16. I need Cortland Sutton points. That's all I could tell you. I'll take a 10-10 start. Our guy, Matt Deutsch, just said that he is on over Russell Wilson rushing yards. 6.5 is Cortland Sutton. There's another catch from my boy. That's good. They'll kick a field goal, though. You know what? Maybe we should join him at halftime, Pilar, because I think this number will probably go down to about 2.5, and that'll be the twerk bet of the week. Okay? The twerk bet of the week is going to be if Russell Wilson does not run for a yard here in the first half, we can get it 3 yards or less. We'll go bet that. That'll be the one this week. I'm not going to feel good about it, and I wouldn't if I wasn't on the show. But Deutsch, you could be I'll be a misery with you. Don't worry about it. Right. Tight end.
Well,
yeah,
6.5 rushing yards. He's also got Carr over 266.5 passing yards, and Denver Raiders game over 45. I understand the over 6.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I probably would have jumped on that one too.
Yeah, well, we'll wait. He has been afraid to run. That's my only thing. And then the other thing is, if your team's leading, if you've never bet the quarterback rushing props, there's nothing more tilting than your quarterback kneeling 3 times and you lose 3 or 4 yards and you lose the bet.
Oh my gosh.
Same thing if you bet under.
100%. The crazy ones are when they're like, 1.5 over under 1.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, come on. I mean, Matthew Stafford has got to run for that. Tom Brady has got to run for that. Last year, Tom Brady crushed people. I can't even remember what game, but it was like, okay, he's got it. And then it was like he ended up losing a yard or so. I can't even remember, but it was all over the internet about a bet that had he won it, had Tom Brady ran or not lost the yard, something like that, he would have won a ridiculous amount of money. Now I'm drawing a blank on if somebody remembers the story, it was huge last year. Huge. It was like front page of all the sites.
Really?
Yes. It was really big last year. Really, really big. You know how you get like the top 8 stories?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was like on the front page of all that. Now it's going to kill me. It was last year though, but whatever. This year.
We'll
so
take
Russell
a break
Wilson
in a couple
over
of minutes.
6.5 yards is what we need. Matt, we're pulling for you.
I'm not pulling for you, Matt, yet. I have not placed the bet yet. So no, he does not. I'm not pulling for him just because he put it down there.
Listen, I pull for everybody's bets.
Oh, not
even
me.
when they're even when it's not favorable to me.
Yeah.
I pull for everybody because
not Deutsch.
There's nothing I can do. If I believe in manifesting the power of the mind and all that stuff, but there's really nothing I can do somebody's got to win. I hope it's one of our viewers that wins.
Yeah, there's nothing better than Matt Deutsch tilting though. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Also, again, you want to get in the comments. What are you sweating right now? That'd be great. Hit the fun button. Just real quick before we go, take a break, and then we'll come back with a loser board and Pilar has her trivia, which by the way, I purposefully went really fast through. So I didn't see the answer to it.
Oh, good. I didn't put the answer in there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I didn't put the answer in there.
Now, I'm telling the truth. Hawkinson, 31.9 half-point PPR, 8 catches on 12 targets, 179, 2 touchdowns. That's impressive. Mo Alley Cox with the Colts, 6 for 6, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mo Alley Cox with the big one. And I love me some Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett, 5 catches on 6 targets, 61 yards and a touchdown. Had a bad drop too, but that happens. And Chigozie Okongwu from Tennessee, 100 yards today. Actually, no. 38 yards on 3 catches and a touchdown.
Yeah, I was like, well, he got almost 13 fantasy points in my league because who started him? If you started him, you hit me up right now. I mean, that was top 6 in my league.
No, that's no. We got Disley scored again too for Geno Smith. So again, we can go look at the Lions schedule. Just know who you want to pick up going forward. Know who you're going to play in PPR because I don't see it getting fixed anytime soon. And again, this was another big reason why I thought this team was going to flop. My buddy Eric Moody from ESPN. Oh no, man, I'm telling you, the Lions are going to the playoffs. No, they're not. That's a bad football team with a bad football coach who people seem to like just because he talked about biting ankles and stuff or knees or whatever the hell they bite. Let's come back. Loser board. Okay, Pilar. Plus, I'm looking forward to your trivia question. You want to hit us up in the comments. We'll be happy to talk with you. Young lady, she is Pilar. I'm holding Bettor Network watch party.
How's your fantasy team performing today? Where's your action? What's on the game day menu?
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got
Body didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
I just get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, There was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it, and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
Yeah, he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man. Yeah. So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis.
He got clear and he walked the dog. 30 and a touchdown.
Goff up under center. Takes the snap, gives. There's the running play straight up the gut. That's Jamal Williams. There he goes, right sideline. 30, 20, foot race, 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Jamal Williams to the house, 51 yards.
Hang out in the Better Zone for a better NFL game day experience.
Holden Kushner, Pilar Lastra, and hit us up in the comments section. You get a shot. Thanks so much for watching today. We appreciate it. Watching, listening. What are you sweating? We want to know. Also, find the fun button. It's a lot of fun to hit. I'm not even kidding. It's not a like button. It's a fun button. You hit it, you just feel amazing. Pilar, by the way, huge winner today over in the Detroit-Seattle game. Now, we just talked about CeeDee Lamb. We heard him, but your boy Jamal Williams, too. He was set up for success today, and he took advantage with 2 touchdowns. What a remarkable day. So, going forward, Swift is going to take a lot of the work, but Swift can't stay healthy, and the coaching staff knows that.
That's the problem. I mean, I worry about Swift the rest of the year. He is injury prone. This isn't the first time he's out because of an injury. So I feel that the best thing to do is have Williams on your bench if you are a DeAndre Swift owner. Go get him.
All right, so if you are sweating out the games right now and you're invested in the Packers and the Patriots, not a lot going on. Pilar 7-3, Packers on top. Christian Watson on a reverse for 15 yards. The rookie gets in. Outside of that, very, very quiet start. Aaron Rodgers is 2 of 5 for 25 yards. So I'm feeling decent about the under 40 or 41 right there. We've got the Cardinals and the Panthers. Kyler Murray's 13 of 20, 90 yards, a pick 6. What is up with this dude, by the way? He's not running. He can't throw. He's not studying, and he plays Call of Duty.
And he plays Call of Duty. That's
his big thing. Like, he just loves playing Call of Duty all the time instead of practicing. Not good.
Is that confirmed?
Let's just go with it, Pilar.
What? Is this how rumors get started?
He's not listening. And then 10-10 here, Broncos Raiders. Russell Wilson, 8 of 9, 90 yards, looks much more competent this week. For those of you with Jamal Williams, just 5 attempts for 7 yards. Cortland Sutton, my boy, I'm halfway there. 4 catches, 5 targets, 34 yards. We need 68 out of him. Be nice to get even more. And, Russell Wilson just dropping back, not thinking today, looking much better. Although they'll probably only have 10 points at halftime. Hey, we got to get to the loser board in a second, but talk to me here, Pilar. I know you have the trivia. And last week, you completely dumbfounded me. I had no idea what the answer was. And I fully expect you to do so once again.
So this is a good one. So I'll put it out there. You'll have a little bit to think about it. And the same with all of our viewers. If you know the answer, chime in on the comment button, or I think they can even call in and give us the answer. Have some fun with us on this one. So this week's trivia question. In the 2021 season, Kyle Pitts fell 23.4 points short of 200 on the season. This player is the only rookie tight end to hit the 200-point mark in NFL history. Who is this player?
It's not Jeremy Shockey, is it?
No.
Okay.
But that would have been a good one.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, congratulations to our boy, Matt Deutsch, as Russell Wilson just ran for 8 yards. Hopefully he doesn't lose any yards.
Well, I was going to say, it's not over till it's over. I mean, he's not going to.
It's better than zero. So totally. Congratulations to at least being off to a good start. So it's not Jeremy Shockey and it's not Tony Gonzalez.
No, that would have been another good one.
No idea.
So this player, I'm going to give you the hint. He did it for the Eagles in 1988. There you go. You're just going to have to go Google this.
Byers. I don't think he was a tight end though. So I don't know. You got me. If Antonio Gates,
if anybody knows, we'll give a little bit and we'll see at the end of the segment.
West of PCH, welcome into the chat. It is not Antonio Gates because he played for the Eagles, but another good one. Another
good guess. I mean, you got to go back to 1988. What's so ironic to me is that this is Kyle Pitts last year, about to break a record that only one person, or match it, not even break, but match the record. That only one other person in NFL history, one other tight end in NFL history has. And now we have Kyle Pitts, who probably can't get us 23.4 fantasy points all season long.
Oh, jeez.
That was mean. I shouldn't even say that. That wasn't mean.
It's okay.
That was mean.
You're fine.
But what a difference from last year to this year. But no, west of PCH, it is not Antonio Gates. Good. I see the California love there, PCH Highway.
Love it. Just for those of you that are frustrated that Javonte Williams doesn't get enough touches, Melvin Gordon has just fumbled for the 3rd time in 6 quarters. This time he lost it. So I kind of feel like there's not going to be that much Melvin Gordon going forward. Now, Javonte has rushed for 9 yards on 6 carries, which is not good, but it might be an opportunity. See, I don't know if Hackett is smart enough to bench Gordon, though, and to let Javonte just go absolutely bananas. Javonte's rushing prop has fallen from 50.5 down to 36.5. So we'll keep an eye on that as the game goes on. Loser, Melvin Gordon, like the guy, he just can't hold the ball right now.
So Williams, what was that prop bet? It fell to what?
Williams pregame prop was 50.5, and it's now down to, what did I say, 36.5. So,
wow.
Yeah, and if this team continues to fall behind, it's going to go even lower. So it's something we can discuss at halftime. They have gone to halftime in Arizona or in Carolina with the Panthers up 10-3. My God. That is just a mess there. And hey, guess what? DJ Moore's alive. 4 catches, 6 targets, 31 yards. He was complaining because Baker stinks. Hollywood Brown's off to a big day. 4 catches, 49 yards. But let's get to the loser board. Kyler Murray. Game's not over yet. I'm just going to put him on the loser board.
Free loser board that we're going to start again already. Christian McCaffrey, 6 for 22.
Loser.
Here, loser. Catches 4 for 22.
Loser.
We can't see this, Christian McCaffrey.
No.
I need more. No. I need more. We all need more.
I am already putting Kyler Murray on the loser board. Okay. He's got 2 points at halftime. He's horrible. He's thrown the ball 20 times, 13 completions for 90 yards, and he's got 4 yards rushing. What a debacle on 4 rushes. So he's at the top of my loser board right now. I really don't have any of him anyways, but who killed you at quarterback today? Because I'll say this, that it was a very disappointing day for Lamar Jackson. I get that the weather wasn't great. I get that the passing yards were going to be suppressed. He ran for 63 yards, but ultimately a touchdown, 2 picks, didn't run for a touchdown, 13 points for Lamar Jackson. That's not going to get it done, Pilar.
Yeah, I agree. So I have Lamar Jackson in 2 of my teams, but I think the one that was the most disappointing for people is Tua this week. I mean, he doesn't get put on the loser board per se, because I don't really think an injury of that should be called a loser. That's why he was taken out of the game, but 2.4 fantasy points in my league. So I think, people were starting Tua thinking, hey, he's hot, you're going to roll with this. And that certainly did hurt people. But I don't have any of Tua on my league, but it did hurt people. The one that hurt me was Lamar Jackson. That's
my biggest loser at running back. I'll let you go first here because my guy might be your guy.
So I'm pulling up I have Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. He's not done yet, but I get it.
Yeah. And I mean, I had Cordell Patterson.
Oof. That's a rough one too. Cordell had a rough day, and Dalvin Cook had a rough day. Dalvin Cook. I mean, where's this guy? 8 points, 8.6 half point PPR, 20 carries, 76 yards, 2 catches, 10 yards. I know his shoulder's bothering him, but boy, that was bad. The number one loser today, though, was the number 1 overall pick, Jonathan Taylor. Oh my goodness. 1.1 plus 4 plus 2 plus a fumble is what? 2.3 half point PPR, 20 carries, 42 yards, and a fumble. Ooh. I mean, this has been that's the head of the loser board right there.
Yep.
What an awful
46th in my league right now. I'm looking him up. 46th in my league.
Surprised he's that high.
For today, 46.
Okay.
3.3 fantasy points.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's bad beat right there. It's not good. Loser board at wide receiver. Let me know if you want me to go first on this one, because I got one guy that killed me on a prop bet.
Yeah, I'm pulling mine up. I have to refresh
Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman was set up to just crush today against Tennessee. First of all, Matt Ryan's a debacle. So I don't care that they got the win. They're not winning. The Colts aren't doing much with Matt Ryan. And then 3 catches on 6 targets for 50 yards. Had a long of 14. He really didn't do much of anything. So it was a little disappointing to see. To be perfectly honest with you, the loser board for me at wide receiver has got to start with Michael Pittman.
It
was bad.
I'm not that bad on mine. I've got AJ Brown. I mean, he still got me 14.5 fantasy points, but I think I was just expecting a bigger game against Jacksonville from him. That one I do have. Jerry Jeudy playing in one of my daily leagues right now that I'm looking at.
What's he got to catch for like 15, 17 yards?
Right now he's at 520. Yep. Those are really the ones that are killing me. Stefan Diggs was another guy that 10 fantasy points in my league, I think, crushed a lot of people. Another name that we were expecting to have a big game and didn't.
Young lady, that Javonte Williams prop I was telling you about, he's going to get over my 50.5 yards, but boy, he's starting to find holes now. So he will not be on the loser board. Melvin Gordon will be on the loser board if you were forced to play him, but Javonte Williams is likely not going to be on the loser board. Let me tell you the other guy who should be on the loser board. Stefan Diggs, 6.2 half point PPR, 4 catches, 62 yards. Ugh, it was a bad day. Had a touchdown go right through his hands. I'll say this though. I do feel like the guys in the Jacksonville Philly game and the Ravens and the Bills should get a pass just because the weather. Like if you look,
No,
because when you're handicapping these guys, like
I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because as a fantasy player, you should take weather into account.
Right.
And so if you're not, but you should, so the weather should make you say, hey, he becomes a risky play. I'm not going to play him, or I'm going to try and find another option, or I'm just going to budget my projections to that. Like, yeah, you got to check the weather. Like, so whenever, you know how like you look at your matchups, right? In season long, in daily, if you're going to play them, then that's on you, right? You have the choice. You made the choice, the conscious choice to do that. But in season long, I like to look at my matchups and be like, okay, this is where I either need to get risky and take somebody off of my bench to put in the flex and hope that they're going to get me more points than what this player, you know, especially a receiver or tight end with bad weather. Like, that's where you got to start taking chances, or just, you know, at some point, like many times I said, I'm going to consider myself already losing at this one because the weather is so bad. I'm just not going to see a high production volume for this person. So I'm going into it thinking, so if you've already lost, you have nothing to lose. Let's get wild and crazy. Let's start making risky plays. That's kind of how I've always played. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Today, when you've got 30-mile-an-hour gusts blowing left to right, those are the games you probably should fade a little bit. Now, as far as rain goes, that the numbers state it does not affect scoring. Now, if you're getting a deluge, like a half an inch in a quarter, all right, that's going to affect scoring. The biggest hindrance to scoring is wind 15 plus miles an hour. And then you throw those gusts in there. And I think that's why we saw the big issues today with Buffalo and Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I can't explain the Jacksonville Philly one though, because that they managed to put up points despite the fact that it was a complete debacle.
Right. Nope. I would have thought though, even bad weather, I just tend to think that the ball is kept more on the ground. So I would have thought, you know, more from Lamar Jackson on the ground. I would have thought, you know, but it didn't work out that way. Lamar Jackson did absolutely nothing. Tight ends on the loser board, the two big ones, was there Mark Andrews and Kyle Pitts.
Mark Andrews. Oh, what a
3.5 fantasy points in my league. 2 for 15 is what he ended up with. But Kyle Pitts, 1 for 25.
What?
At what point are we throwing in the towel on this guy?
At this point, I don't think you throw the towel in on him, but you definitely have to temper your expectations. And I just don't think that the guy is going to be is going to be the tight end one that everybody thought he was going to be.
Or drafted him to be. Cole Kmet.
I think that's because of Mariota, though. I think that's because of Mariota's been a good fantasy quarterback. Today was not the case, but he's just not looking for him. And that's the big issue with Kyle Pitts right now. So what were you saying? What was the next guy?
Cole Kmet had more fantasy points than Kyle Pitts. I mean, you know what I mean? This is just bad. This is bad. If I had him in any of my leagues, it's time to put him out there for trade. It's time to see what you can get. And I would take anybody that gets more than 2 catches a game.
That's it?
I would take. I just need 2 catches. 2 catches. I mean, 2 catches and 15 yards, I'm going to get more fantasy points than what I'm getting out of Kyle Pitts in my league right now.
If you had over 1.5 Russell Wilson passing touchdowns, you just cash that. He's 11 of 12, 149, 2 touchdowns. He just hit Jerry Jeudy for a touchdown. So it is now a missed extra point for the Raiders. Don't tell me the Broncos just missed it. We've got 2 missed extra points here. Those of you that were betting the over, it's probably going to soar, okay? And Deutsch has the over in this one. But both kickers in this game have missed extra points. That's not McManus's fault. That was a bad snap and a block. But both. By the way, Melvin Gordon, 5 fumbles, last 44 touches, dating back to last year. That's why Jamal Williams or Javonte Williams has 9 carries. Wilson has 1 and Gordon has 1. So I think what we need to do here, let's take a break because I want to go look at the numbers. And at halftime, I'll be looking for Javonte Williams rushing attempts, not yards, Pilar, because it's over his pregame. I'm going to go with rushing attempts. If I can get it, I don't know, at 17.5 at a decent number, I'm going to end up taking it. because he's at 9 right now. So the twerk play of the day, that's what it's going to be. It'll be Javonte Williams likely once they post it. If I can get a 17.5, I think he gets to 18 carries today. I think they're done with Melvin Gordon right now.
They need to be done with him. So.
Let's hope for the rest of the day. Okay, she's Pilar. I'm Holden. Comments are open. Okay, if you're sweating anything out right now, let us know. You can give us a call too. There's a fun button in there. It's really fun. You might as well hit it. It's the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Network.
Are you not entertained?
Bettor Zone. Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
JL, I think this is the game everyone's been waiting for, and the moment in this game that we are probably going to have to talk about for at least the next 15 minutes. The Miami Dolphins took down the Buffalo Bills 21-19, and we got to talk about it. The play of the game, the butt punt.
The butt punt.
Punted straight into Trent Sherfield's abyss between his legs is where that
booty
football determined. It was straight up there. It could not have been aimed better up that Tuchus. Like, he just went for it. Like, you look at the picture, shout out USA Today photographer that caught that image, because wow, moment of impact, and you can really see just how well aimed between the cheeks that ball was. And Craig said, did y'all see Mark Sanchez's tweet to the punter? I did. Mark Sanchez tweets, stay out of my lane, bro.
That's pretty good.
I love all these self-aware tweets yesterday. Mark Sanchez, Orlovsky, like they're just coming in and like poking fun of themselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
Speaking of TV, last night I tried to watch Aaron Judge.
Did you watch the K-Rod broadcast?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Look, I went to ESPN Plus and I'm like, I want to watch this K-Rod thing because they had Roger Clemens and they had Barry Bonds on.
Nice.
At the same time, Bonds brought up when Clemens hit him on his piece of armor. And Clemens was like, oh, it was a strike, man. It was a strike.
No, like, Clemens was like, if you wear, and I don't blame Clemens, if you wear that thing, right, that piece of armor, and you on top of the plate like that, target practice. I'm going to see if I can hit that joint.
But dude, it was, and he was, I mean, Clemens, he's like, it was a strike, get off the plate, is basically what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the plate.
Can you imagine the three of them? Like, you're Michael Kay, and you're sitting there with Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and Roger. Three guys who should be in the Hall of Fame and are not. Like, who should have been like first ballot, slam dunk Hall of Famers.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the game.
We should get them on the show. All three of them together on the show.
That'd be cool. Corey Nando and Friends. They're the friends.
They're the friends. I mean, why not, right? They seem like nice guys.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I just started watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix last night, which I knew a lot.
That looks pretty freaky, man. Is it as frightening and kind of eerie as it looks?
Yeah, it's disturbing. Like, you know, there's no.
You think he ate people, Ray? It better be disturbing.
Well,
to you.
I know the story. He ate people and I murders. I knew, but I didn't know he was drunk all the time. And
well, Ray, I mean, we've all been there. You get the munchies when you're drunk. That would be actually a defense in court. Your Honor, I was drunk the whole time. I was hungry and I needed food and my neighbor was there. Right. What am I supposed to do?
And he had like beer cans all over his place. There was a lot of Miller and Bud. I guess he was not only was he a person of opportunity with the killings, he was a beer drinker of opportunity. Because I don't think you normally do one and the other. You should do one or the other.
I don't want to tell AB or Miller how to do their business. But don't go marketing that Jeffrey Dahmer loved your beer while he was eating kidneys.
Front Yard
Shotgun snap. Wilson bounces in the pocket, throws the ball to the end zone. Touchdown, Denver! Back to the end zone. Cortland Sutton. A laser strike from Russell Wilson. A touchdown of 5 yards, and the Broncos, with 2:45 left in the first quarter, take the lead here in Las Vegas, 6-3.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
I highly recommend you get into the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network. It's Pilar. I'm Holden. We're having a good time today on this Sunday. Hour number 1 is just flying through. Like the voice said, why don't you hit us up in the comments? What are you sweating today? Give us a bet here, a halftime bet. What's going on? The DraftKings is not posting any rushing numbers besides for Josh Jacobs right now, who's at 12 carries What do you think about Josh Jacobs getting to 20 carries today, Pilar? He's at 12 carries. They're coming up on halftime. Probably better at halftime. You think he gets there, or do the Raiders fall behind?
No, I do. I like 20.
Okay, I'll bet that when they pop.
Is that where it started? Did it change? Do you know what it started at?
Let me go find that. That's a great point because you usually don't want to bet. You don't want to bet over the pregame number, although there are some things you see, though. You know, sometimes there's things that you're going to see and you're going to want to bet. And by the way, Derek Carr just ran for a chunk of yards. All right. So, yeah, they don't have his carries there. And I don't remember what his pregame carries were.
All right. Well, I mean, I feel like 12 at halftime. I mean, the game is tied.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the Raiders will have the lead likely if they hit their
comfortable pace.
Extra point. By the way, here's another one. You were talking about Jacobs. His pregame line, the lowest line I could find, 65.5. Now sitting at 89.5. So, yeah, that thing moved. He's having a good first half. Yeah.
Somebody took the over at 65. That's a good one.
Yeah. If you hit that at 65, you're doing really well. All right. So Josh Jacobs over 19.5 carries, minus 125. I really hope they post that Javonte Williams prop. That would be nice to get a bet in here. Let's go back to the leaderboard real quick, Pilar. And then after that, you had some season-long trade stuff for us? Is that what? Okay.
Yes. But all right, let's go on and let's finish up the trivia. I'm going to give you guys the answer. Nobody was able to guess it.
Okay.
So the question was, in the 2021 season, Kyle Pitts fell 23.4 points short of 200 on the season. This player is the only rookie tight end to hit the 200-point mark in NFL history. The hint was he did it for the Eagles in 1988. The answer, drum roll, please. Keith Jackson.
Gosh darn it.
1988. Super Bowl winner, Pro Bowler. I mean,
I have a feeling I know who the head coach was of that team. I'm not 100%.
The Eagles in 1988?
I think it was Richie Kotite, who later went to the Jets and became one of the worst Jets head coaches, which is really saying something.
Well,
so
I do want to clarify, though, he did not win his Super Bowl was not with the Eagles in 1988. The Eagles did not win the Super Bowl in 1988.
Well, here's what we got right now on the leaderboards. Justin Jefferson leading the week right now, 21 half-point PPR points. Jamal Agnew, as we all knew. T. Higgins is number 2. Jamal Agnew today from Jacksonville finds the end zone 2 times, 17 points there. Then there's Tyreek, and then our boy CeeDee Lamb, 75 and a touchdown, 15.7 half-point PPR points at running back. Again, just interesting names all over the place today. Now, we do have Austin Eckler, 28.9. Half-point PPR, scored a couple of times, 60 yards rushing, 6 for 49, and a touchdown in the air, so 3 touchdowns. Rashad Penny, 27.7. Miles Sanders, 27.6. Jamal Williams, 22.9. And Derrick Henry, 20.7. Hey, we didn't even talk about Damien Pierce. Everybody wanted to give up on this kid after week 1. All he does today, 14 carries, 131 yards, busts a really long touchdown, 6 catches for a whole 8 yards, but now he's getting worked in the passing game? Going forward, I was high on Damien Pierce. I got made fun of after week 1. I did have a little bit of doubt, Pilar. I think this dude's a stud going forward. Where are you standing on Damien Pierce?
I like that. I like that going forward, right? Yeah. Because I don't need him to be a top 4, top 5 in my league every single week, but give me a top 10 and I'm thrilled with that. Absolutely thrilled. If you can just give me some consistency there. So hopefully that's going to be from your mouth to God's ears situation.
Okay.
I do see it being possible, though. I do see it being possible. The one that I wanted to ask you about, though, is Austin Eckler, right? This is a kid that we've been waiting for this game. We kind of figured against Houston. It was a good matchup for him. It was certainly the opportunity for him to shine. Do you think that this was just his matchup, or do you think that this is the production that we're going to see from him going forward?
Oh, we're not going to see 3 touchdowns from him. As a matter of fact, the rushing numbers, the fact that he's not carrying the ball very much still concerns me. But he's still an
for-
RB1 in season
Right.
1. Still an
Right.
RB1.
So he had 60 yards. The thing is the touchdowns. That's really what got him the help this week. And then in PPR, the 6 receptions, right? Can we expect 2 touchdowns from him
every week? No.
Like 1 in the air, 1 passing.
I mean, if he does that, then he's going to be the number 1 running back.
I mean,
you
so
score
no,
2 touchdowns a week.
I guess
pretty good shot. You're going to be number 1 running back.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, can we say 1 touchdown? But I mean, you can't even say, I guess you can't really say like for a running back to find the end zone every week. I mean, for the rest of the season, I guess that would have just been wishful thinking. You know what I mean? Because
it would be nice. Because I traded for Austin Eckler.
One way or another, do you see him finding the end zone, whether it be you do see him finding.
I think they will continue to give him the ball down in inside the 5. And I think they will continue to use him in the passing game in the red zone as well. So yes, I think the arrow is trending upward for Austin Eckler, but I also think you're going to see, just like any back, you're just going to see flat lines. What you want out of your big guy is just spike weeks. I want guys to give me 30 points, 3 or 4 times a year. And I think that is what Eckler can do. And if he can give me, 12 to 15 a few weeks and hit 20 a couple weeks, because they're going to bust. All these guys are going to bust 6, 7 times a year. But if I can get 10 games where like he's giving me great production and, 3 where he just wins me a week, I mean, that's wishful thinking. 2, 3 where he wins me a week, I'm going to be happy with Eckler. I'm fine with him right now. I have a hard time panicking 4 weeks into the season.
Oh, I don't. I don't feel like it's time to panic. I don't know if panic is the right word, but I do feel like at some point you need to look at the season, look at how they're utilizing him, look at, I mean, just because he said, hey, I don't want to have the ball as much, I don't want to carry the ball as much, doesn't mean that always works that way, right? Because in the opposite side of that argument is there some players that say, I want the ball more, and they don't get the ball more, right? So you don't always get what you want in the NFL. That's just the way that is. But when you see them actually giving him what he wants, and then sometimes we see coaching staff. 2 years ago, Carolina was saying, we don't want to give Christian McCaffrey such a heavy workload. And they were looking for another backup to kind of split carries with him, split the workload. And that just never worked. What happens? They give him all that heavy workload and he gets hurt every single year. So to me, the theory makes sense, for a football team to keep their players healthy, to split the backfield. For a player that wants longevity in his career, hey, I want to split the backfield, right? I mean, that's more real money in his pocket versus fantasy money in our pocket, but that's the reality of the game. But just because you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. So they're actually giving him what he wants here. That's the thing. And I don't know. I digressed. I went into like so many different tangents.
It's okay. We went down a rabbit hole and I like it. Here's the deal. We got some bets here, young lady, and I put them in.
All right, what we got?
Both at -135. So did you say old guy? Did you call me old guy after I called you young lady, or am I hearing?
No, I didn't say old. I said, what you got?
Okay. I thought you said old guy, but that's okay. It's just, it's my problem, not yours. So we had to pay a little more.
Your problem, mine.
We had to pay a little more juice than I wanted to, -135, but that Javonte Williams prop, the carries prop, he had 9 in the first half. It's 16.5. So all we need 7 in the second half. And I think Melvin Gordon's in enough trouble where we get that. And this game is close. The other thing is the Josh Jacobs line. Again, -135. Kind of need to hit both these bets because one, you're still going to be a loser. But he's got 12 carries right now, and his line's 19.5. He needs to get to 20. So I need 8 carries here. I need what?
Yeah.
8 from Williams, 8 from Jacobs in the second half. And here's the bet then. If one of 2 hits or none of 2 hit, I have to twerk again. But if both hit, I think you should twerk sideways. Will you accept that challenge?
But hold on though, because I told you I said I like the Josh Jacobs 20, so I'm rooting for him.
Now you're rooting for him?
Yeah, because I said I like the 20. I think he'll get to 20.
What about Javonte?
I
mean, this is just looking like I'm going to have to do it again. I'm not feeling comfortable about it.
Fair enough. Give me a different one. You're gonna have to find a different one throughout the show.
All right, here, I'll give you one right now. I'm gonna give you one right now.
Somebody in the chat can come up with one.
All right. If the chat doesn't do it, if the chat doesn't come up with it, I'm gonna bet, and I'm gonna put $25 down, whichever way you go. Kyler Murray rushing yards over under 10.5. He's sitting at 6 right now, and we hate him. I hate him. I can't stand him. He just threw a touchdown pass to Zach Ertz.
All right,
So he
so
went
I'll
over his
do
prop.
that. I'll do over. So it's what, 10.5 rushing yards?
Now it's 9.5. Yeah.
I'll take it.
25 on the over.
I'll
All
go
right, here we
over.
go. $25. If this bet wins for me, I twerk. If it loses, I paid $25 to get you to twerk. 9.5
All right,
yards.
Gallagher, you better get it together, buddy.
I'll
Because
just-
nobody wants to see me twerk.
No,
Nobody.
I think you just
Ask our boss. There's video of Victor Cruz trying to teach me how to salsa, and he was like, "No, this is bad." Then there's video of
how does a Latina not know how to shake her hips?
I'm
Seriously.
that's what Victor Cruz asked me.
How
I said,
does it?
"Dude,
I've
really?"
dated this girl from Ecuador. She's the best dancer ever, shaking her hips, and she used to make fun of me. By the way, Andrew Cooper's here. We'll talk to Cooper in a second, but how the hell? And you're Spanish, the high class, and you can't twerk.
I am the only Latina on the face of the planet that
Right.
cannot dance.
Yeah,
And Victor Cruz was like, "How do you not know how to salsa?" And I was like, "Buddy, the only salsa I can make is in the kitchen with some tomatoes, some onions, a little bit of cilantro, and some lemons. Like that is how, and some garlic. That is the only salsa I can do."
Yeah.
I'm like Beetlejuice. I heard twerk bet and I was just summoned here. Like,
Well, here's the deal.
It was
for some reason, Pilar thinks more people want to see me twerk again as opposed to her. And I mean, that's not true, is it, Coop? Please.
Absolutely true, dude. You got to know how the internet works, my friend. We always vote for whatever is more hilarious.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's the facts, man.
You're just trying to get in Pilar's good corner. Of course, Andrew Cooper, Fantasy Alarm, Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, weekdays 7 to 10 Eastern Time. Hello, Coop. How is your day going? You're wearing a Patriots jersey, and they're leading Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Lambeau 10-7 at halftime.
We're
How
back,
you feeling?
baby. I think we're ready for more parades here in New England, dude. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This is the sad era of New England sports. But yeah, I still gotta rep my team, man. I'm not gonna stop. I got this Ben Coates jersey when we were terrible.
Oh my God.
And
Ben Coates.
And
That's
back when I was a
2000?
young lad. Yeah. So in fact, it was bought for me. That's how young I was. Like, it was, my first jersey ever. So, I do remember when we were bad. I remember when we finally became good, losing to the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And then we were awesome for a long time. So I think I could weather the storm of a bad Patriots team for a little bit.
I mean, after the run that you guys had, it's about darn time.
We'll be okay. I think we're going to be okay.
I don't feel too bad for you.
Coop, you sweating anything right now? What are you on?
So, I don't have any props going in this second game. I have some for the night game we can talk about in a minute. I got some fantasy bets going. We on the morning show, we were on 9-11, me and John and Pemba on the fantasy playbook, and we told everyone to start Cortland Sutton. So when he scored, I was not happy. I was relieved. That was one of those ones where I was like, we're off the hook, baby. So, sometimes you're happy. Sometimes you're just like, thank the Lord. Yeah.
I need him to double his output because I got over 67.5 yards. That's my play of the week. So he needs to he's having a good 4 catches, 34 yards. I need the big one. I need him to get that 25, 30 yard
the big
pass
chunk,
right
man.
there.
But that's what Russell Wilson does, right? Though he's the guy that generates that extra space where, he can find anybody when he can generate the time. So it's only a matter of time with that guy.
We hope so. We sure do hope so. Did you have any big hits in the earlier games? Any games you were sweating?
I mean, I'm a big tight end guy. My tight end ranking. I mean, I had some misses you're never going to get it exactly right, but I moved TJ Hawkinson up in my rankings all the way. Yeah, way ahead of Kittle, ahead of a bunch of guys. So Some kudos there with but he was also TJ Chalkinson today. Everybody, like, you can't miss when every wide receiver's out. But you know what? It feels nice. I heard you guys earlier. I popped in earlier, listened to Holden talking about Gerald Everett. I know you love Everett. Me too.
I love Everett. I mean,
right?
Can't catch, but when he does, it's a touchdown.
Exactly. Or sometimes he gets a little too tired, and then there's a pick six, and they lose the game, like a couple weeks ago. But I mean, we learned, like, this is something that fantasy gamers need to know, is that this is an ever-changing landscape, right? So when you get an opportunity where guys are hurt, Keenan Allen's out, start Gerald Everett, right? Charkin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Swift are out, start TJ Hawkinson. Like, you have to be plugged in, right? Because the teams that go 3-0 a lot of times are just the teams that draft well, and they sit back smoking a cigar and they get crushed. So you have to be tuned in. You have to be plugged in. And that's why you got the Bettor Sports Network here to keep you ready to rock and roll.
I want to point out too that it just wasn't those big names for the Lions that was out. It was also Quintez Cephas that was out as well. Yeah. Like, it was everybody that was injured for the Lions. Like, and everybody, just a couple weeks ago was a little concerned, or a week ago, was a little concerned about TJ Hawkinson and his hip, right? Yeah. But he's a big guy. He's agile. He's not going to let a little hip injury stop him. And today he 100% took advantage of the situation that he was in. And he showed up big. Huge,
man.
Coop, I want to talk to you about some players that are playing right now. Get your thoughts on it. So McCaffrey, we came out in the second half now. McCaffrey, 8 carries, 27 yards. I'm on his under 15.5 carries today, 5 for 25 in the air. What is Christian McCaffrey at this point? Is he a top 10 running back still? Is he top 5? Where do you have him for, I would say, a redraft league, a season-long league? Because it varies week to week in DFS, obviously.
Well, that's the question, though. And then the best part of this question is because if we were to sit here and pretend like fantasy football doesn't exist, right, then we would all say he's a top 5 running back, right? In NFL terms, in a vacuum. But in this offense with this quarterback, it's a little dicey. For me, I'm always going to start with Christian McCaffrey. So the question almost becomes moot to me, because, like, I'm never going to bench him if I have him in my fantasy league. Like, unless they tell me he's literally playing on one leg, in which case I probably would still start him. He's just that good. So for me, I'm always going to start him. So I'll say he's easily top 5 still.
Eckler or CMC?
In full PPR, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to go away from Eckler. Forget the 2 touchdowns.
Would you have said that? Would you have said that if he didn't go off today?
I said it. I'm on the 9 to 11 a.m. show. You can rewind this puppy.
Okay. All right. You like that too.
Well, that's the thing. And what's best about that is we had the Chargers beat writer on our show this morning. So I was kind of forced into a take. So I did say that. And the thing is, I said, he's never had 1,000 yards, right? Not one time. So he's never had 1,000-yard season. So if you were banking on him in your standard league, I think you read the tea leaves a little wrong.
Oh, for sure. I don't think that he was that hyped up in standard. I feel like people that have been so hyped up are 100% PPR.
Right.
Please standard.
Because that's where he gets all of
Holden, that's right.
Pilar, when was the last time you played in a standard league?
I've never played in a standard league.
It's so funny.
Ever.
Because, like, I'm older than both of you guys. So, but I started back in the late 90s. That's all we had. So basically, you're just guessing touchdowns. That's all fantasy was. Who's going to score a touchdown?
It's true.
Or no, you're guessing people on the position that they play. The running back is getting his points based off of the position that he is supposed to play, and not being utilized as a wide receiver, a pass catcher. That's just, and I can't say that I never played. There was a time that I was playing standard, like years ago.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, but it was so much easier to play standard back then, right, Holden? Like, it was like every team had one running back, and he got every carry.
Right.
Oh, that's the other thing. That's
right.
Priest Holmes,
one running back.
Yeah, and then when Priest Holmes got hurt, Larry Johnson came in. He was awesome, right? Like, so it was like it was simpler times back then. I actually pulled up a stat on that exact thing. 2000, I think it was like 2003. So last year, Nick Chubb had the second most rushing yards of any running back. He had 12, just over 1,200. Back in 2003, that wouldn't have even been top 12. Like, that's how different of a world we live in now. Yeah, but Nick, I was holding. I'm totally with you. If anyone asks me a standard question, my first advice is to say,
why?
Reach out to your commissioner, put it to vote, get it changed to PPR.
Some people though like it that way, right? I mean, some people they don't like change, but Nick Chubb, I'm looking at it right now. Right now, leads in fantasy points for both standard and PPR. Nick Chubb does, and Saquon Barkley.
And it's the argument of the best pure rusher. I mean, Nick Chubb has always been in the conversation for best pure rusher, right? Him, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor. It's the split that keeps us off him. But I mean, geez, he looks like amazing as always.
Just to go back to your Christian McCaffrey, which I'm not one of these people that is, I got to hang on to him. I believe people are needing to come to terms with the fact that it's okay to make a mistake in life. It's what you do with it, right? So your number one fantasy pick isn't going to make your season, but it sure as heck going to break your season, right? So if you went for Christian McCaffrey with your first or second pick, right now in standard leagues, he's 21st. In PPR, which is where you're going to draft him, right? Where you're excited to draft him, he's not much better. In my league, he is in PPR. I mean, even worse. Even worse than. No, I'm missing his name here because he's not that far down. He's 21st. So either way, so he's 21st in both of them in my league. But there comes a point that I would package him up and trade him out there to somebody like you that would say, I want that big name and I love to harbor hope, right? That's what I would do if I've got somebody like Christian McCaffrey. It's probably what I would do if I had somebody like Alvin Kamara as well.
Well, to me, Alvin Kamara is a different beast because I'm a little worried that what might happen with Alvin Kamara is if the Saints know they're not going to make the playoffs, they're going to let that court date hit in November.
For sure.
And then then they say, let's eat the suspension for the end of the season and then come back next year. That's a bit of a different beast to me. Christian McCaffrey, you can trade him to me all day. I'm down to make that twerk bet. I think this guy I think he's just one of the premier athletes in this league. And when push comes to shove, like this coach, Matt Rule, I know I might fall for the fallacy of rational coaching to a certain degree, but just throw it to Christian McCaffrey, throw it to him until it doesn't work. Right? He has 5 catches today. The first time they've ever moved the ball, really. Just throw it to him 10 times, 15 times until the defense stops it, and then everyone else will be open more. I mean, the thing about Christian McCaffrey is that it's different than a lot of these other guys. And I'm not a big eye test guy. I'm a stat guy, but eye test wise, he always looks good. Does he not? Has he ever looked bad?
No.
Not bad.
That's why I can't give up.
Hey, I got some pretty big news here. It's Javonte. That bet's going to lose. The Javonte carries bet because he's out. He's injured. He's questionable to return. So those of you with Javonte, that's not the twerk bet though, Pilar. It's the Kyler Murray one. Had you taken the Javonte one, you would have been in good business, but you didn't. You took Kyler, and you're probably in good business there too. But and then they're so pissed off at Melvin Gordon because those, what was that? What did I say? 7 fumbles and his last 4 fumbles, last 55 touches or something. Yeah. I don't know. He's not even getting the work. Mike Boone is in. So, and then Wilson gets sacked. So all of a sudden, everything just turned around in this Raiders Broncos game. You can't trust Melvin Gordon. We don't know if Javonte's coming back into the game. He's sitting on the bench shaking his head like this right now. So, that's big for redraft. I don't know how many of you have him in DFS today, but that's a huge story now because the Broncos are going to have to rely on Mike Boone, and there's your number 1 pickup because they're not going to trust Melvin Gordon going forward if he keeps putting the ball on the ground. Mike Boone, believe it or not, might actually be in play after this week. I might be getting a little ahead of myself, Coop, but that looks like the guy they're going to give the ball to tonight.
I don't think you're crazy either because the Broncos GM, George Padden, he came over from the Vikings, specifically brought Mike Boone with him. Right? He loves him, right? He does. And, it's like every coach has those guys. And when your back is against the ropes, those guys pop out, right? Like Brandon Bolden with New England. Like when back against the wall, Rex Burkhead. They always have those guys in New England, or Mike McDaniel stuff. But like back against the wall, like these guys come out, man. So it could be Mike Boone time. This roller coaster with these two running backs has been crazy, because it was like Melvin Gordon fumbles in that first game. Javonte Williams comes in the goal line, he fumbles, right? Melvin Gordon fumbles again this game. Javonte Williams gets hurt. It's like, please just leave us alone. Like, can we just have one running back? Can we go back to 2002, please? I just do the one running back thing again.
Long gone are those
simpler
days.
times. But I guess it keeps us employed. A lot more to talk
You're
about.
right. You are right. So, oh my gosh. You said you had some skin in the game for the Sunday night Chiefs-Bucks game? Yeah.
So, I like to talk about bets. I do dabble a little bit, but when it's a game like this where this year I don't have a ton of guys in this game, because I don't usually draft tight end early, so I don't really have a lot of Kelsey, right? And then I have Mike Evans in a couple places, but I like to so when I don't have a lot going, I like to lay some bets. So for me, I have a couple. I mean, do you guys have any that you're looking at already, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I've got some. I've got Travis Kelce over 6.5 catches, and the over on the 68.5 receiving yards. And then I've got Mike Evans over 68.5 receiving yards as well.
Yeah, I have that same Evans one. And the thing is, like, it's not like he was hurt. He was suspended. You know what I mean? Like, he just got a week off, like, to work out, get healthy. Like, he's going to be coming out firing, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that Evans one. Another one I've been looking at is, like, when you look at the Chris Godwin lines, it's like 4.5 receptions. And then it's 39.5 yards. When you look at his career, yards per reception, if he hits the receptions, he's definitely hitting the yards too. So you almost have to decide whether you think, and it's so tough with guys like this where it's like, we don't know if he's hurt completely or if he's going to come back, what the situation is. But I'm down to bet both those overs,
Ooh, wow.
If he's Chris Godwin, I mean,
I got an under 3.5 on Clyde Edwards-Helaire receptions. He has been worked in, but I don't think he does too much. I don't think he does too much.
Get that
I don't know where that line is right now. I hit that when it came out, I think Wednesday. But
Jerk McKinnon's playing all the pass plays. He played
all the passing downs.
McKinnon played more plays than CH last week. Like,
yeah,
outright.
So that's one. That's the one that I can remember that I have. I'm sure I have a million others. I'm wondering whether or not where to go on the Tom Brady prop too, whether or not I want to go under on that. I know his weapons are back this week.
Yes, it's Tom Brady over 263.5 passing yards.
That was at 270. I mean, that's a big drop. I don't know if I could do that at 263, but there's definitely money that came in on the under then. There's a lot of money that came in on the
He's
under.
got everybody though. He's got
right.
This one I like betting the Bucks to win because they have Fournette, Evans, Godwin, Julio, Russell. Like, I feel like everybody's playing, are they not?
All right. Well, we'll look at
Bucks are favored at -1.5, and the over/under set to 46. I feel like this is one of those games that can go either way, right? I mean,
yeah.
It can go into a high scoring game with both quarterbacks just doing what we love to see them do, or it can be a complete disaster. I mean,
in hindsight, it's going to look like this is one of those games where in hindsight you look back and whatever quarterback plays well, you're going to be like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes is awesome. Like, of course it's, or Tom Brady's awesome. Like, this is definitely going to be one of those hindsight games.
All right, buddy. I know you got to get out of here, Coop. I'm on Green Bay -2.5 and under 40. Apparently, I just learned that. So I'll be sweating the total out more than the side on that one because we're at 24
with
Rodgers to Tunyon.
With the injuries to the quarterback stuff for the Patriots, I'm on the fence to start to root for us to lose. I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for that draft pick at a certain point. We haven't had a good draft pick in a long time, man.
Who is Bailey Zappi?
He's
Western Kentucky.
I know, it blew my mind. We took him in like the 4th, so not even like an inconsequential pick. So I don't know. They like the guy. We'll see.
Yeah. Surtain just cost me a 6-1. He had an interception in his hand. He dropped it. Come on, Surtain. Coop, thanks for hopping on, buddy.
Yeah, make sure that you can check out his work on Fantasy Alarm in the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Also, Coop, you co-host the Game Day Playbook presented by Fantasy Alarm, Sundays 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern. So people, make sure that you are checking him out.
Cheers,
Get the
guys.
app.
Thanks for having me. I'm on this day every day except Saturday. I got to find a way to get on Saturday.
I have great news, and I'm going to save it till after the break. I mean, I have amazing news.
Save it, baby.
Amazing news.
Thanks for having me, guys. Awesome.
Thank you, buddy. Hey,
smash that fun button. Hit that fun button.
Hit the fun button. It's fun. Our guy Matt Deutsch is probably gonna win 2 of his 3 bets. The car passing yards. I mean, that was
baby.
Stupid bet.
Oh yeah.
Your other 2 were smart though. I mean, they haven't cashed yet, but they were good. But I got some great news when we come back, folks. This is Better Sports Network. Better Zone.
Better Zone.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Brandon Staley says Joey Bosa suffered a significant groin injury. My goodness, the Chargers. Dude, I'm out. All right, I do this every year. They suck me in. Every year I'm on the Chargers. And what do? They burn me, man. Burn me. Injuries across the board. How was Justin Herbert in that game late? Why did he even play?
That's a good question.
That line moved significantly. It went down to 3.5. So he said, all right, Herbert's probably not going to play. And then on the scoreboard, it said that Chase Daniel was the starting quarterback. Then the line moved again. And, unbelievable, man. So
how much does it have to suck being that guy that tweeted that out? That, on the video scoreboard during dress rehearsal, Chase Daniel.
But when you were reading the tea leaves, you have to be like, you know what? This is not a good play. Like, you can't roll with him. You know he's banged up. There was questions all week. They're a disaster right now. They lost Slater, one of their linemen for the year. They have so many injuries right now. It's the same story with the Chargers every single year, man.
Corey, Nando, and friends, presented by Mayo Media on Better Sports Network.
Allen Robinson, a dog. Once again, a dog. Allen Robinson. Hard to trust him in your lineup. You know what I'm saying?
I would trust him to do what at this point?
Yeah, exactly. Like be invisible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This comes from our boy Tommy G. Such an interesting theory. So Tommy would say, and Allen Robinson is like the perfect guy to do this theory with. When a player gets off to a bad start like this, that you drafted highly, don't put him on your bench. Cut him.
Yeah.
Because as long as he's on your team, you're going to think this is the week, and that week is not coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're just eating up all of these bad games. So instead of putting them on the bench and keep tempting yourself, just be done with them. Cut them. And that's where I'm at on Allen Robinson right now. Cut him.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
That's the point people miss with Kelsey. They argue there isn't volatility. They argue that he is the dominant dude every week and he gives you an edge every week. And that's why he deserves to be drafted in the second round. He is just that. I get it. He's the best tight end. But Ray, they're acting like every week is a consistent 15, 16, 17 points. It's just not.
At the end of the season, he's going to give you an A+ performance.
No,
okay.
Within the position, he gives you an A+. I don't need an A+ at tight end. I need A+ at running back. I need A+ at wide receiver. I don't need it at tight end, but people think they do. But my argument is, when are people drafting Travis Kelce? People are doing this everywhere, everywhere. And their argument is he's awesome every week. He's the best. We need one tight end. That's it. We need 5 running backs. You're drafting one tight end and you're telling me I got to get the best guy in the second round. I'm going to overpay at a position I don't need. It's just not worth investing in, because even the best guys, they're nowhere near the top 10 on occasion.
On third down, Murray takes the snap, in the pocket, backpedaling, his throw, picked off by Frankie Luvu, breaks a tackle, down the sideline, 10-5, touchdown, Frankie Luvu!
Hang out in the Better Zone, where you track NFL live action on Better Sports Network.
That's the little guy, Kyler Murray with an interception. Pilar, what were the terms of our twerk bet today?
So the terms were, and I'm looking at that now. I mean, there's a lot going on.
What were the terms?
There in Arizona. There was a bit of a scuffle. The terms were, if Kyler Murray hits the over on 10 rushing yards, you twerk.
Well, I won money.
Twerk.
Can I do sideways today?
Oh, I thought, wait, what if he loses yards?
He's not going to. He would have to lose 13 yards. There you go. There's my twerk. He'd have to lose 13 yards.
So first off, you never know. First off,
you do.
Just threw in the towel. Okay.
Yeah.
There might be a point. Things are getting heated in Arizona, Carolina game. It's one of those things where he had the interception. He may just stick to the ground. He may have the opportunity to lose some yards. You never know. Never know, but you just can.
I'm pretty sure this is like, I'll take it. They put the money in my account already. It was worth it. It was worth losing that bet, but congratulations, Pilar. 2 weeks in a row now. She's definitely on a roll. And you're right. There's scuffles going on. There's 10-10 score. Cardinals at the Panthers right now. This is a fascinating game. And Kyler actually put a nice drive together. 20-29, 171, a touchdown, a pick, and 7 carries for 23 yards. Let's just do a quick leaderboard, and then we could do the eating thing, because I always like the eating emotions. I have so many emotions that need to be eaten. It's
so
true.
Many.
So many. Again, Austin Eckler leading the way today, 28.9 half-point PPR. Top 5 running backs this week, half-point PPR scoring. Eckler, Penny, Miles Sanders, Jamal Williams, and Derrick Henry, with a couple of shout-out to Damien Pierce, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Saquon, rounding out the top 10. And actually, Josh Jacobs has moved into the top 10. If you're just joining us, Javonte Williams on the sidelines. He's banged up. Questionable return. Boy, I just saw Melvin Gordon in there too. He got stuffed. So they're desperate enough to keep playing Melvin Gordon after another fumble. Let's go to the quarterback position, because everybody knew that the top 2 scoring quarterbacks this week would be who, Pilar? Jared Goff and
Geno Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now it looks like, once everything has been updated in my league, Jared Goff is the number 1 scoring. Before it was Geno Smith, but Jared Goff, crushed it today. 4 touchdowns, 378 yards. Did have 1 interception, 1 yard rushing. Look at that. For 33.22 fantasy points. He outdid Geno Smith, who ended up with 31.7. Top 2 quarterbacks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the week has brought us. And Josh Allen is right there holding steady at number 3. Daniel Jones, 4th. 5th, Justin Herbert. 6th, Joe Burrow. Nice to see him in the top 10 for sure. And not necessarily on his back the whole time. But even Zach Wilson in at number 7 in my league. So interesting week. Who is not in the top 7? Jalen Hurts. He broke our hearts quite a bit. He did finish 10th. And of course, the big one is going to be Lamar Jackson.
All righty. Let's get to wide receiver. You pull the wide receiver list up. I'll give the first one. I like it when you read it. It's a lot more fun. Justin Jefferson leading the way. Had a huge morning this morning. They tried to get him the ball more, and it worked. 13 targets, 10 receptions, 147. He scored on a rush, a 3-yard rush, 21 half-point PPR. If I had to do the math here, that would be what? 24.7, 25, 31 PPR points?
That's what I have, yeah.
What do you got for the rest of the top 5?
So then in number 2, Tyree Kill, who got it done for his fantasy owners, regardless of who his quarterback was. He did have that huge 65-yard bomb that he caught there. So he finished out number 2. Then T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, rounding out the top 5.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, that's right, baby. How about them Cowboys? And then followed up by my Detroit Lions. Josh Reynolds at 6. Jamal Agnew, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks. Who would have thought this was going to be a Brandon Cooks week? Corey Davis at number 10. Adam Thielen, 13. AJ Brown at 14. I mean, kind of expected.
Hawkinson, number 1. Hawkinson, by the way, in PPR leading all scorers today.
39.9 fantasy points.
Yeah, 31.9 and half point, 39 in yours, 8 for 179 and 2 touchdowns. What a ridiculous stat line he put up. And that brings us to the tight ends. You had to have Hawkinson if you're going to take some
Those
stuff
are really
down
the
for
big
that.
ones, right? Gerald Everett, Zach Ertz. And then the ones that disappointed us. Once again, Kyle Pitts. The disappointing ones.
Goddard didn't have a bad game. What do you go, 5 for 72? But you got to get into the box there. Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox 3 for 50. He hasn't been terrific. So there's your leaderboard right there. But you're right. Kyle Pitts is the guy that's really frustrating right now. You want to give us your loser board? By the way, is that Josh Jacobs who just busted like a monster run? Oh, yeah. Josh Jacobs just put the Raiders in the red zone. They lead the Broncos 19-16, 5:42 to play in the third, and Javonte Williams on the sideline with an apparent injury. He's questionable return, but that was the leaderboard. I have so many emotions right now. So many emotions, and I know we'll get to it in a moment. What were you going to say, Pilar?
Oh, so, I mean, we pretty much covered the loser board too, with the exception of Mark Andrews that we missed here on the tight end. So Mark
Who's on your
Andrews,
loser board? Throw it in our chat. We'd love to hear from you. Fun button too, if you can find it on the app. Actually, that'd be a great thing for you to do. It'll take you like 10 seconds. Sift through. If you can find the like button, send us a picture. I'd love to do it. And maybe I'll give you like something that my daughter made, some pottery, or an original Jabba the Hutt from 1983.
Oh. You know, the fact that you'd be willing to give away your daughter's pottery.
It's broken. She told me I could do it.
Oh, that's really
You're
nice.
harping on me being a bad dad. I got to go back. First of all, I'm a great dad. Second of all, I had to work when I left my daughter's game at halftime.
I wasn't even going to bring that up.
No. And I know it looks bad, but I had to work. I couldn't get out of it. So
I get it. 100%. 100%. I get it. I tried to take down some like arts and craft thing that my daughter made at school from the refrigerator because
how'd that work out for you?
And she knew exactly what was missing from there. I mean, I was like, that was so long ago. How did you even know? I was like, oh, it's in Daddy's office. He wanted to hold on to it. As I'm like, while she's in there searching for it in my husband's office, I have to go dig it out of the recycle bin to get it out. Here it was, honey. He put it somewhere else. Like,
oh god.
Ay.
Ay is right.
Yes. Yeah. So, I want to play a little game with you. I don't know what it is that we have going on, but some interesting trade questions that I've seen either around the league or people have asked me about, or what I would do, right? This Kyle Pitts one is obviously, I feel like I'm the only one who's willing to get rid of Kyle Pitts. Everybody's hanging on to him, but
you're selling low on him now. Like at this point,
yeah, but there comes a point but there comes a point that I feel like you need to address the situation and see how much more can you take from this. If you drafted Kyle Pitts, you picked him up early. He was going to be your number 1 tight end. Who are you starting instead of him? Because you probably felt like you were sitting real pretty with Kyle Pitts and thinking, I don't need to really draft anybody for except maybe to cover my bye weeks. You weren't really concentrating on thinking about, hey, I need to draft somebody in case Kyle Pitts is a bust. And if you did, good for you. And let me know, because I don't see that happening with anybody that drafted Kyle Pitts. So would you trade away Kyle Pitts, who's sitting 17th overall? You have Kyle Pitts. You're going to let him go.
Okay.
He's sitting 17th overall in PPR. For TJ Hawkinson, who before today was 15th in PPR, and Chase Claypool.
Hell no.
Would you trade him after seeing TJ Hawkinson's performance today? I would have done it for TJ Hawkinson alone.
Absolutely not. I think what we're going to have with Hawkinson is a few of these weeks, but he's got to stand and block a lot because he can't protect Jared Goff. Now, if we get another week where all of Goff's options are gone, especially Amon-Ra, then I'll go with Hawkinson. But I think
but you'd have to make that pick now.
Still Pitts. And did you say Chase Claypool?
Yeah, because
Chase Claypool should be on every waiver wire after this.
I don't disagree, but I feel like
Garbage.
everybody throws in that extra here, take this guy off my bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't even want him, but what are you going to say? No.
But Hawkinson for Pitts straight up. No, I'm not doing that.
See, I would have done it for, I'm ready to cut ties with Pitts. All right, here's another one.
I don't anywhere. When you have him, you're like more salty because he's been hurting you, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't have him. I just feel bad for everybody that does have him.
Yeah.
Like, let it go.
Yep.
Let it go. It's like a bad relationship that no matter how much you try to make it work, it's just not going to work. There's some things that are just not working. And what are you going to do? You're going to risk your fantasy? Like, yeah, go. There's more upside, I feel like, with TJ Hawkinson for me, especially seeing this performance, because try to keep the entire Detroit Lions offense healthy. It's not what we do here. It is not what we do. We get hurt.
Yeah.
That's
well,
what
maybe
we do.
you shouldn't take my advice because my marriage lasted way too long and I should have cut it off earlier. So maybe if you're translating this to Kyle Pitts, maybe I'm waiting too long on him. I should get divorced.
I didn't mean about you.
Oh, it's all about me, Pilar. Are you kidding me?
I didn't mean about you. I'm just
It all
saying.
comes back to me and my divorce. What else do we have? Do you have any more for me? This is kind of fun. I enjoy this. And the Raiders are settling for a field. Hold on, real quick. Let me just throw a couple things out. Okay. 17-17 Packers Patriots. So the Patriots just stuck the ball in the end zone to tie. This is a bit of a shocker here. Wow. Okay. Patriots. I see you. Devontae Parker has scored again. Cardinals, Panthers, Kyler Murray, they had to settle for a field goal then, 13-10 Cardinals over the Panthers. We got over Kyler Murray's rushing prop at 25 yards. Hollywood Brown, 5 catches, 65 yards. And here we are with Josh Jacobs, 3 carries away from going over his prop that we bet, 17 for 102 and a touchdown, plus 5 catches, 31 yards. Josh Jacobs going to end up being one of the big fantasy performers this week, Pilar. But all right, what do you got for us? What do you got for us on our next one?
So people that are frustrated with Alvin Kamara, and this is a real one that I did see on Twitter today. So trade away Alvin Kamara for Jamal Williams and Tyler Lockett.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Williams and
Jamal
Lockett.
Williams and Tyler Lockett. So what I found interesting about this is like, look, Kamara should not play for 6 weeks. He's got a real rib injury.
Okay.
And I've had a rib injury before. Like it takes every last minute of the full 6 weeks for it to heal, right? I never had a shot, but you can give it a shot, whatever. All you're going to do is keep prolonging it. So a rib injury is going to last at least 6 weeks. Jamal Williams, there's that upside opportunity. I feel like right now somebody's coming in and selling Jamal Williams extremely high, right? But Kamara's been very frustrating for fantasy owners, obviously, with his injury. Tyler Lockett, he's 20.
Another 6 catches. Gino's peppering that dude. PPR, Tyler Lockett's been a pretty good find so far.
What's up, players?
Would you give up the big name Kamara for Jamal Williams and Tyler Lockett?
Well, Williams is not going to have an every week role like he had today.
That we're expecting.
You're right. Swift is going to get hurt. If you could tell me Swift's going to miss like the last 2 weeks of the regular season and the playoffs, then I'm totally in on this.
Right, but let me look into my little crystal ball here real quick.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and it really depends on where you're at. If you're a team that's staring like 1-3 in the face, then I think you might have to take the Williams Lockett deal. I think if you're off to a nice start though, and you can manage to hold on, and you've got a backup for Kamara, because if Kamara does end up coming back. And I know he's not getting suspended. So when he comes back, I still think he's going to be a borderline RB1. He's going to get all the volume that you need.
Unless it comes out like a situation that, Coop just brought up. If he's on a team, they're looking like they're not going to make the playoffs. Right. They would say, hey, we'll take the suspension.
That's a big if. That's a big if for me to.
Everything is a big if, though.
Yeah, that's a really big if. Because now you're going down a rabbit hole hoping, A, The Saints aren't going to play well, and I think they're going to be a competitive team going forward. That division's not great. You got Tampa Bay. So you get that, and then what? They're hoping that he has the hearing because the hearing keeps getting pushed back. They're hoping he has the hearing to get suspended. Yeah, I mean, listen, if I need running back help right now, I would make the deal, but I would try to avoid it as much as possible.
I think it's a fair deal, though. I don't think it's a not fair deal. I think it's, somebody who's really holding on to the name or to hope, and that's that, hoping that Kamara doesn't get injured again. I think it's a fair deal, right? I mean, both, because there's so much risk on both sides.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of risk.
All right, here's another one. Trade away Christian McCaffrey for Amari Cooper. And he's sitting 5th in overall PPR receivers, and Ezekiel Elliott, who's about 33rd for PPR.
No.
So let me tell you why I find this. You're saying no right away, right?
It is
so
interesting.
You have Christian McCaffrey. You're looking for the PPR fantasy.
Correct.
Right. So to give me Amari Cooper, who right now is sitting 15th, which I do think, towards the end of the season, when you're really going to need him to really perform for you, he's going to upgrade his quarterback. That's what became interesting to me on this particular deal.
Yeah, I hear you. And Amari Cooper's off to a great start. Let's not forget, Amari Cooper has every bit the injury history as Christian McCaffrey, it seems like, at this point, right? He's always hurt. Brissett's looking at him. You would think it's an upgrade when Deshaun Watson comes back. You would think. Not sure. But I still think I like keeping the best player, and the best player still to me is CMC.
All right. So me personally, I would make the trade. Ezekiel Elliott, I would just turn around and trade him for whatever else it is that I could get. But you're going to need some type of a running back. So if you don't have a good running back bench on this one, then you're probably going to have to start Ezekiel Elliott. But I really do like getting Amari Cooper there. All right, final one that I have here for you.
Yes.
You're going to trade
Durst
away.
coming up.
Yes. Trade away Tyree Kill. People freaking out about his quarterback situation. Both quarterbacks are now, not now. Not Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have a concussion now, but he was kicked out of the season last season with his concussion that took him out for the rest of the season after he got hit. So it's trading away Tyree Kill for Jamar Chase and Cordell Patterson.
Yes.
All day long, right?
Listen, I love Tyreek, but Jamar Chase is going to end up breaking out. He got off to a slower start last year. Might have had a big game early. You give me that deal. It didn't even take me till you got done with the sentence. And you're throwing Patterson in?
And they're throwing in Patterson. Tyree Kill is the number one fantasy wide receiver right now. This particular person, like I said, was concerned about Tua's long-term health. And Teddy Bridgewater, the fact that he did have a concussion last year that did take him out of the year. But here's the other thing too. They do have a nice season. Tyreek Hill does have a good season left. They're going to be playing the Jets, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Detroit. He's going to have a monstrous game against Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Houston, 49ers, Chargers, Buffalo, Green Bay, Patriots, and Jets. So I agree with you. I would take this deal all day long. And I think anybody who's concerned about Tua's health and Teddy Bridgewater having one more concussion and then he himself pulling him out of the game, I feel like that's a good deal. I would take it. All right.
We got Durst in the house. Nick Durst. Big time with the Bettor Network. How are you, man? What's going on? Talk to me. How's your football Sunday going so far?
Football Sunday is going good because my Giants, they won miraculously without a quarterback. Did not matter. And I hope for you guys there was no sweats just winning bets today for your NFL Sunday slate. But it was a crazy day. And I think, they say a lot about NFL parity, but right now it seems like a lot of teams are just mediocre. I don't know if there's any team that's really like that.
Are you buying into your boys? What is it? 3-1 now?
3-1.
And those jerseys today, they went back to the old helmets. I mean,
very nice jerseys.
It's looking nice for the Giants.
Yeah, I think they need to. Those need to be the permanent uniforms again. That's for sure. They're also their white collar rush ones to just be their road uniforms. Unlike the Commanders, I don't know what the heck they're wearing today. They looked like a high school football team, and they maybe they were wearing black to mourn their season because they were just terrible today. Maybe the Eagles are really good. I don't know, but NFC East, I'm not necessarily buying the Giants. Maybe they could sneak in at a wild card because it doesn't seem like anybody's pulling away here. We have to say that coaching is very good. Great staff. Wink Martindale is great defensively. Dable's been great. First Giants head coach to go 3-1 in his first season since Tom Coughlin. So that's got to be a good omen. But it's just nice for a change to watch the Giants. I mean, I'm in New York. Usually before the baseball season ends, the Giants and Jets seasons are over. This year, it's a little different. I've been going out for a Bettor Sports Network every Sunday at MetLife Stadium in the morning, talking to the fans, getting their reactions. And I know, Pilar, I know you love your trivia, so I'm going to give you a trivia question about what price are the Jets charging vehicles to park this season, a standard vehicle? Is it A, $30 per car, B, $45 per car, C, $50 per car, or D, $60 per car?
So I would have said $50 per car, but then it's New York. So I feel like if we're paying $50 in Detroit, y'all got to be paying, what was it, 60, 65?
60, yeah. So
60.
The correct answer was $60. And I was shocked because I was there the week before for the Giants game, and the Giants were only charging $30. So what does that tell you about the Jets? They're on their high horse. They're price gauging their fan base because they're coming off a win. Now another win. I mean, they're going to go in mass hysteria next week. Crazy in the parking lot. The Jets fans are a whole nother breed. They're so pumped up about being 500. They haven't been 500 this late in the season in like forever since the Rex Ryan days. So the Jets fans are excited, and obviously the Jets parking lot attendants are excited too because they are charging double what the Giants are charging.
I can't even believe that. Yeah, I know when we go to the Lions game, I'm like, $50 for what? This is crazy.
I just want to say this, Pilar. This is a bitter Giants fan. His team is actually doing well. Takes a shot at Washington, takes a shot at the crosstown Jets. Do you want to say anything about the undefeated Eagles while you're at it? Or maybe Cooper Rush?
I mean, with the Eagles, usually you say it's so bad at Jalen Hurts, but so far he's been great. So I guess, everything's looking great for them right now. Cooper Rush looks fantastic.
Okay.
So, I mean, right now, I think those are the two favorites in the division. That's for sure. And I think the Giants are definitely a tier behind them. The Giants did not show up on Monday Night Football. I mean, I know it's allergy season, but the Giants don't need to be allergic to the end zone. Somebody get them an Allegro or a Flonase or something because, it's just like can't score. But today they got in the end zone, 2 running touchdowns by Daniel Jones. And, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And so far, I think the Giants have been very lucky to start the season.
Listen, Lady Luck any day of the week, please. That's what I say. I'll take luck over anything, right? I mean, so Nick Durst, video producer here at Bettor Sports Network, also host of the You Know I'm Right podcast. Yes. Was there any games that you were big on this morning that you might have put a bet in that worked out for you, didn't work out? With the podcast, it says, You Know I'm Right. Where were you right?
Yeah. So
where were you right, wrong too, right? Because it happens.
That's funny, man.
Two rights don't always make a wrong sometimes. That's for sure. That's for sure. A lot of games today were kind of just like a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
But for me, the game that I was right on was the Jets. I thought they were going to keep it close because I'm all in on Zach Wilson. Rough start of the game, but 6 for 6 on that last drive, bring the team down the field to beat the Steelers. Tremendous job by Wilson and the Jets there to get the victory. So got to give them credit there that he looked fantastic offensively, and he had a big receiving touchdown as well at the quarterback position. So I guess he was what they were missing all along. The offense looked a little better. And it's interesting with the AFC North, like nobody's really pulling away here. We thought the Ravens are going to run over the division. We know the Steelers are always going to be tough. The Bengals are defending champs. And of course the Browns, but without Deshaun Watson. So nobody's really pulling away in that division. And they're 4 good teams, but they're all going to just beat up on each other all season long. And it's going to be tough to come out of there as the champion of the division.
Yeah, so that Steelers over-under was at 41. They finished with 44 total. I did not see them getting anywhere close to 40. Nowhere close to it on that game. So was there any other games that you were – how about the Seattle Lions game? Did you think that one was going to be over 51 or over 59 at halftime? They raised it to 59.
Definitely did not see that coming, but I did see a close game happening. I mean, it's very strange that we get to any point in the NFL season where the Lions are favored. They were favored by 5 points a little earlier in the week. And anytime or most of the time when a road team is coming in as 5-point underdogs, they usually cover. A little surprised that they, put up so many points, but another revelation here is Geno Smith. So who I guess maybe Pete Carroll was right. The Seahawks are not missing Russell Wilson at all. They had Geno Smith in their back pocket all along.
No. It was Geno Smith against the Detroit Lions. This is a one fluke. Nobody read into this. I mean, we've had this already discussion before.
Right now, if you're a fantasy owner, I think you want to have Geno Smith or Jared Goff on your team. I mean,
I think you just want to play whoever's playing Detroit. You want that other quarterback. And you know what? Jared Goff, believe it or not, he's in the mix.
He's an elite garbage time quarterback. I mean, he's getting a tremendous amount of yardage in the fourth quarter. And, if your quarterback is out, we're getting to the bye week soon. Jared Goff's not a bad option. You're going to sweat it out the first 3 quarters. But once the Lions are going down 14 or 21, I mean, Pilar, the Lions are going to put up those points at the end to make it interesting because Dan Campbell, he's a master strategist. He's going to make this team bite the other team's kneecaps.
Right.
If he just gets a little talent, I really like what I was seeing from the coaching staff of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I feel like our offensive coordinators are more of like the masterminds behind this. I do wish that Dan Campbell had a little bit more coaching experience because then it would be the perfect storm for us, right? Like if he just had that mastermind, it would be phenomenal because the players love to play for him. Like I love to cheer for him, right? I mean, I've been in Detroit now for 7 years and I feel like it's been really, really hard to be a Lions fan. These last 2 years, it's been really fun. I mean, we go till there's nothing left. They love to play for this coach. So it's certainly fun to watch.
You think the Lions can finally get a Thanksgiving win this year?
No, so last week on the show, I think one of the statistics was that the Lions actually have quite a few wins. Look, growing up, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so Thanksgiving was always very difficult when the Cowboys lost. And it happens, I feel like, a lot lately during Thanksgiving. It was very, very, very difficult to eat a large meal watching the Dallas Cowboys lose. So hopefully things this year will be a lot easier. Or I just may have to hit the vino a little bit sooner and then just not care.
Oh,
that might be my strategy this year, guys, because it's very interesting whether I'm back home in Texas and the Cowboys are doing bad, it's going to be bad. If I'm here in Michigan and the Lions aren't winning, then it's going to be bad. I can't win. So that's my strategy.
Hey, Durst, what do you got tonight for the Sunday night football game? This is going to be one of the most, it should be one of the most hyped games of the season when you're talking about possibly the best quarterback today and the best quarterback ever. You got any bets, some fantasy takes? What do you got for us for tonight?
Well, here's the thing. I think the Bucs, they won't admit it, but I think they're really missing Bruce Arians. with his clock management. I mean, there were some instances last week, like before, where the play clock is winding down. Todd Bowles, we know he's not an offensive guy. He really wasn't aware of that. It just seems like Arians had a better grasp on that. However, I mean, they're in a really weak division, so they should easily win 12, 13 games. They have Brady, but they're also definitely missing Rob Gronkowski because, I mean, his blocking alone makes all the difference in the world, and he's there as somebody to bail out. So it's, they're going to easily win, 12, 13 games. They'll get a top 2 seed, but I don't know about them in the playoffs. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out without Arians and Gronkowski. Tonight's game, I think I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. It just seems like every time Patrick Mahomes plays on that Sunday night, he ends up winning, it's tough to say though, because obviously Brady has probably, I don't know the statistics, but he probably has the most primetime games ever played of any quarterback.
It's like 11-3 coming off a loss against the spread, like on a primetime game or something. It's ridiculous. I'm with you on the Chiefs. It's very uncomfortable. I'm not with you enough to lay a bet down on the side in tonight's game. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I would say you gotta lay off this either way on the betting, because it'll be close. That's for sure. I think the Bucks are going to try to establish the run though, so maybe you go over on Leonard Fournette with his rushing yards.
Oh yeah, establish the run.
I do like that actually. Bucks are favored at 1.5, and the over under tonight is set at 46. I got them going under. Like I said, I feel like this is either going to be one of those games that's going to be spectacular and fun and back and forth, and both quarterbacks are going to do what we like to see them do, or it's just going to be they're not going to get things going that much, right? I mean, it can literally go either way. That it's not going to go in the very exciting way, and I took the under on this one.
Right. How often does like a big marquee matchup of two quarterbacks live up to the billing? I mean, last week Rodgers and
that's two geriatric dudes with Rodgers and Brady. Come on, this is Mahomes we're talking about.
Right.
I'm not talking about the nursing home.
Could be one-sided though, So maybe I don't. The Bucks to me are lacking that explosiveness this year that made them so good. I mean, I was there last year for Antonio Brown's last game. Were
you in the hotel this past week?
They definitely miss his skill set for sure.
Were you in the hotel this past week when he exposed himself?
No,
Once again, in the news, this guy. Once again, my goodness.
Looked like he was packing too. That's the amazing part. Hey, Pilar, last question, because then we're gonna run.
Okay.
You got one?
Oh, I thought you had one.
No, I was talking to you. I mean, let's ask Durst one more and let him enjoy his night.
Which is that I think the Patriots are very lucky that Hoyer got hurt. I don't know how this guy's been in the league so long. He's the worst backup quarterback I've ever seen. Zappy comes in, he's zapping the ball around the field. Now Patriots currently back in this. I mean, but Hoyer, he stinks. I don't understand how this guy's in the league so long, but I guess it's true what they say. Backup quarterback in the NFL is the best job. You make so much money and you don't get hurt and you have longevity.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like now it's thinking about what is not going to get your noggin, bashed, and what's going to give you longevity. That's why I say if my son was going to play any position in football, it's going to be long snapper.
I think kicker is a little safer. They could play 20-something years. Don't gotta get.
You can still get hit. I mean, there's rules protecting them, but you know what I mean. As long as you're not screwing up snaps, you got a really nice, comfy job. You're barely on the field.
All right, Durst, go have a good night, buddy. Thanks for hopping on.
Watch my Mets tonight. Hopefully, they can pull it off.
Very good.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Make sure that you are checking him out on I'm Right on his podcast, and of course, he's our video producer here at Bettor Sports Network. Great guy, a lot of fun.
I feel like if you do a podcast, I'm right. He's got to be more bombastic, but I like the sarcasm that you totally. It oozes out of him, and I'm a big sarcasm fan. So we'll get him even more bombastic, though. It's a great one.
Yeah. So check it out,
guys. Rodgers to Dobbs, 24-24. Pats and Packers. 6 minutes left there. Pats are getting the ball. 26-10. Cardinals ripping the Panthers up. Goodbye, Matt Rule. You're going bye-bye. McCaffrey's got 8 catches, 68 yards, 27 yards rushing, no touchdowns. And then cash the Josh Jacobs prop. We did it. 20 carries there. And the only reason we're not getting the Javante is because the dude's hurt. But it's 25-16 Raiders over the Broncos right now. That is an interesting one. Hour number 3 is next. That'll be an interesting one as well. Fantasy versus reality. Is that coming up, Pilar? I love these little tchotchke segments you do. It's fun. It puts me on my heels. I don't know what's coming. I really don't know what's coming. Hit us up in the chat if you get a minute, just like Nick did. Sarcastic Nick, thanks for having me on. He said that in the chat. You guys are sweating anything out? Let us know. Find the fun button. Hit the fun button. She's Pilar. I'm Holden. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Better Zone on the Better Sports Network.
Better Zone.
That's awesome. Cards. I got 2 things I want to bring up, and I got them ready for the show today.
Sure.
First of all, I don't know if you ever played this Topps Home Run Challenge game.
No,
like
I
a genius. So I'm in love with Adolis Garcia. So basically, what you do is you scratch off the back, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you a code. And you go and you punch it in, and then you have to pick the game that he's going to hit a home run in, right?
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that before.
And then if you do that, you get like a special limited edition card, and it's limited to how many people actually picked he would hit a home run that month. Cool. And then you can double down if he goes over 425 feet. You get like an extra special card.
Yeah.
So I went on eBay, like, because I like Adolis Garcia, like, because all the rest are like big names. I got 6 of them, and I totally forgot to punch them in. So I got the plan. I think they're coming up Colorado soon or something.
There you go, right there.
I have a month left to punch in 6 Adolis Garcia home run cards.
There you go. Congratulations.
We can do that live on the show if you'd like.
Sure.
Here's the second one.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna like this. I was at Target, and they had Garbage Pail Kids. And
that's pretty cool.
It was Garbage Pail Kids Bookworms, it's called, and it makes fun of like book stuff. This is one of the greatest cards I've ever got in my life, and I'm trying to probably buy more. You see that right there?
That. That's pretty dope right there.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah,
and he's pooping on. Look at that.
I like that. That's dope right there. That's clever, Nando. You know,
it's the best card I've ever seen in my life. It's worth $1.50.
I was going to elementary school, right, in the Washington Heights area in New York City. You used to walk down Broadway, and on Broadway and 150th Street, it was a dude. You would go in there, and he used to sell, like, you know what I'm saying? He used to sell the Garbage Pail Kids in the morning before we go to school. So everybody was in that store buying Garbage Pail Kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, just get that. So I'm up to deal with the Garbage Pail Kids. I think that's pretty cool.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah, you see the little poop emojis right there too. That's a cool card, Nando. Yeah,
right. You can get it for like $2.
I like that.
I don't know why. This is my favorite thing in the world right now. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, I want to hang it up on my wall or something. Like, it's just so. Who comes up with Winnie the Pooh pooping on? Winnie the Pooper.
I like that.
I gotta find something. They even have the balloons the same color as like the actual Winnie the Pooh cartoons.
I like it, Nando. That's sweet.
Anyway,
that's
sorry.
clever.
I just wanted to share that with you. I'll never grow. That's that'll be old man Corey. Wait a minute. Hey, turn your bass down. I'm going through my Winnie the Pooper collection.
Turn that NBA young boy down. I'm trying to do a show over here. What's going on? No respect. All that boogity all loud.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk. Sports talk done better.
Hang out in the Better Zone for a better NFL game day experience.
Hey, it's Holden. It's Pilar. It is the Better Zone. Just run around all the week 4 action here in the NFL. You get a chance, leave us a comment just like Coop did. Twerk party for TMC or CMC. Twerk party for CMC. Got in the box. 9 catches, 81 yards at a touchdown. He has 8 carries, 27 yards. Pilar, twerk party for CMC. He did it.
Yes.
We were talking about it. You feel better about him now?
I do. Listen, I mean, he was people's number 1 or number 2 fantasy pick. Yes, this is not.
baby.
Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to see him. I don't feel bad when I don't feel good when other people feel bad. That is not me.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I don't feel better when you feel terrible. So I like to see him do what we're hoping he does. me, I would still trade him high.
Trade high on Christian
high
McCaffrey.
now.
I don't think that's the worst idea to be. You hear this in the offseason. Well, all the injuries, it's not, they're freak injuries, they're soft tissue. It's nothing serious, but I still look back at the amount of carries he had over those 2 years. It was like 700 something carries.
Yeah.
It just, for me, now you got his value built back up. But what the question is, what are you taking for him then? That's the next question. Like, who do you want? By the way, Russell Wilson, please complete this. Good God. He just can't hit anybody downfield. Damn it. Anyways, Pilar, who are you be trading him for? Seriously.
I mean, what was the trade offer?
Eckler? Henry?
What was the trade offer that we had earlier? Let me go back and find it because I don't have it off the top of my head. But
would you take? Would you take Jamar Chase? Right? Wasn't it? There was a Jamar Chase one.
No, Jamar Chase. That was for Tyree Kill.
Tyree Kill.
That was the one. Let me go back and find because I don't have.
Would you take Justin Jefferson?
That was a Mark.
Would you take Justin Jefferson for CMC?
That's a good one. I probably would.
Me too.
Especially if I had a pretty decent running back situation, I would feel pretty comfortable taking that. Yeah, the trade was for Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott.
I'm over here sweating out. Remember, I need the Broncos to lose by 8.5 points or less. Right now, they're down 9. My boy Sutton got the catch. Are you sweating anything out right now, Pilar? Any players? Anything?
So I didn't do the prop bets on this one. I've got just any
fantasy stuff?
I'll tell you on my fantasy right now I've got Christian McCaffrey in my stepson's league.
Oh, I was just ripping Russell Wilson. He just hit KJ Hamler on what probably was about a 50-yard bomb inside the 5. So Russ is running. He's run for 21 yards, and now he hits on a bomb. Wow. Let's go.
Wow. That was nice.
That was gorgeous. You see that now?
Well, hopefully that means something's going to get started with him now.
Yeah, we just need. This is just a great football game. Is what it's turning into. To be perfectly honest with you, and he just ran it into the end zone too. So Russell Wilson is alive. Okay, contrary to popular belief, he has decided to take this team on his back. He did it in the fourth quarter. He's looked good in this game. So I'm going to ask you, Pilar. You comfortable if you have Russell Wilson as your fantasy quarterback, 12-team league? You comfortable with that right now?
He's my starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because what else am I going to have? I don't have another choice at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you are kind of screwed, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's different. You're not going to trade your quarterbacks. You're committed to what you have in your quarterback situation. So yeah, you have to be comfortable. You don't have a choice.
Russell, running it in. We got you
have to every single week hope that things are going to change for you because nobody's going to trade for a quarterback, and there's not an up and coming quarterback that you can draft or pick up in waiver wires. They just aren't.
All right, let's get to the leaderboard real quick, Pilar. With the top of the hour, we still got some fun stuff coming up. We got Kamla coming on again, right? Rick Kamla. I'm looking forward to talking to him. He's always bringing the energy.
Totally.
And then, of course, we got to do some fantasy versus reality. But why don't you take the running backs? I'll take the quarterbacks. You take the running backs and wide receiver. I'll do quarterback and tight end. How does that sound? So I'll just start with this. Here are your top 5 quarterbacks here. 4-point passing touchdowns today. Jared Goff leading the way, 33.22. Geno Smith, 31.7. Yes, that Detroit-Seattle game was just splendid for fantasy goodness. Russell Wilson has now moved into number 3 with 25.98 points. So Russ has got 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, 24 yards on the ground. Deutsch, I mean, you hit that one on the head, man. And then 17 to 22 for 237. So there's still a shot that Wilson is the number 1 scoring fantasy quarterback by the end of the day. Josh Allen, 23.52, had a nice day on the ground, 11 rushes, 70 yards. And then Kyler is sitting there with 29 rushing yards, 2 touchdown passes, a pick, and 207. He's got 23.18. So as it stands right now, Goff's, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, Allen, and Murray. What do you got at running back and wide receiver, young lady?
All right, so your top 5 running backs, and I'm happy I'm sitting down for this, and I feel like there's a reason why you're making me call these out, but that's fine. I will do it with pride and grace.
Listen to me. There's no reason besides for I just wanted you to do 2 and I wanted to do 2.
All right, fair enough. All right, so our number 1 so far running back in PPR is Austin Eckler, then Miles Sanders, Rashad Penny, Damien Pierce, and sitting pretty at number 5 with still time to go, Christian McCaffrey. Woo!
CMC's in there now, huh? I like it.
When would this day come for Christian McCaffrey owners?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I like it a lot too. Happy to see that. And then your wide receivers, your top 5, Justin Jefferson, Tyree Kill, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, CD Lamb. There you go. Those are your top 5.
A wide receiver. And then the only tight end you need to know about is Hawkinson. Hawkinson went bananas. You know what we didn't talk about? Defense and special teams. Just target the Bears. Always bet the under Justin Fields passing attempts and target the Bears. Giants today leading the way with 16 defensive special teams points. Eagles with 15. Jets, Cardinals, Panthers. The next 3 teams. And by the way, the Cardinals and Panthers are playing each other still in progress. So that could fall.
That can certainly change. So if you take those 3 out, and so Vegas. So Dallas came in. They are at 7 so far. So we can still see what's going to happen with these other 6 teams. But still, yeah, Dallas and Tennessee both getting you 10 fantasy points. I'll take that. Double digits from your defense is always a good day, I feel like.
I need 16 yards from Cortland Sutton, by the way, and I'll be sweating it out. I'm in 4th place in this $50 tournament. I'm winning $750. I'm 2.33 points away from winning 1,000. I don't think I'm going to get 1st or 2nd though. You never know, but I'm in position to have a nice little payday here with DFS, so I'm happy about that. Let's do what we were supposed to do here. Fantasy versus reality, huh?
All right.
And congrats, Deutsch. Your total just went over. Your Russell went over, and Carr's still in the mix to go over. He might sweep the board. He should have his own show.
Yeah, Carr 90-ish passing yards away. Well, Matt, we hope he gets it. We're going to be pulling for that. All right. So here's our segment, fantasy versus reality. I'm going to give you a fantasy football situation versus a real life situation. And you're going to get to choose your adventure.
Oh, yes. Choose my adventure. I love it, Pilar. And you remembered. Good memory.
Oh, yeah. Not just a hat rack. You get to play along as well. All of our viewers, listeners, chime in as well. You can hit us up in our comment section, hit the fun button, call in, have some fun with this. But would you choose the adventure of having to start Cameron Brate every single week for the rest of the fantasy season, or not be able to use your cell phone for a year?
I mean, if I can't use my cell phone for a year, people are going to die. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of have to go with
die.
Huh?
Who's going to die?
Yeah, I got old people in my family. They call me. I need to come down and, fly out and go visit
them. But they can
them.
call you on a landline. Not.
Oh, I can have a landline?
You can have a landline.
No, because then I'll get lost all the time. So no, I give me my cell phone. I'll have to play Cameron Brate. I'll take the 0.
Cameron Brate.
I'll take the 0 and pray for a touchdown once every 5 weeks.
Well, you know what? He could have a good game today. I mean, Kansas is, not exactly the scariest team against opposing tight ends. So maybe tonight would be the one time you're going to be okay starting him. But
Pilar giving a shout out to Cameron Brate. If he scores tonight, Pilar's getting a shout out on the Twitter machine too, because that would be damn impressive. All right, give me my cell phone.
All right, so you got your cell phone. Next one. Left TJ Hawkinson on your bench today to start Kyle Pitts, or hiccup nonstop for 20 years. Holden, choose your adventure.
No, I can't hiccup nonstop for 20 years.
People have.
What? Like,
yeah,
all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would drive you nuts. I mean,
like
what if your husband did that? Like, isn't that grounds for divorce?
I mean,
You don't want to say it out loud, but I know you're thinking it, Pilar.
I mean, I might try to hold his breath for really
Yeah, nonstop hiccups. You know how distracting that would be? That'd be awful.
Yeah.
No, I don't want nonstop hiccup. I don't know where you came up with this cockamamie one. It's a really good one, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Because
No
this
hiccups.
really does happen. There's people like on that like 60 Minutes or 2020, all those like shows. Yes, that they've been hiccuping for, and it's some, I don't know, like some disorder or something, but they
That's
just
crazy.
their breath doesn't regulate right.
That's nuts.
So I saw that I don't know, 15 years ago. I saw an episode like that, and some guy had been hiccuping for 20 years.
Oh my God.
You
cannot be serious.
Yes, I'm
She's
very
serious.
serious. I am serious. It scared me so much that, no joke, anytime I hiccup once, I almost have a panic attack, afraid that it's going to happen to me. I don't think that I have ever gone more than 3 hiccups without stopping them right away. I will take a glass of water, and I drink it like backwards. So you have to like bend over, hunch over, and put your mouth on the opposite side of the rim and then lift it up. And it's almost like drinking from a water fountain, a really low kitty water fountain. It would do the same thing.
A low kitty water fountain.
If you ever hiccup and you want to get rid of it right away and you panic like I do because I'm afraid to hiccup for 20 years nonstop, that is what you do. Breathing into a paper bag, holding your breath, none of that. If my kids get a hiccup, I have them drink upside down. I don't even try telling them like, here, breathe into a paper bag. No.
By the way, I just sent a message to our producer. I said, can I tell an orgasm disorder story? Because it's better than yours. Yours was a good story, but this poor guy
Baby.
He has it like 20 times. Like he does it nonstop, and they kicked him out of his dad's funeral because he just kept going like this the whole time.
What?
True story. I was watching this video with my girlfriend. It was a couple of weeks ago.
What were you watching? We don't want to know.
It was on YouTube. No. It was a YouTube show, and this poor guy was in England, and it was hard not to laugh at him. He's like, I can't get out. I can't go to the restaurant. I can't go pick up my kids. I couldn't go to my dad's funeral. And that's an awful accent, but I'm not even kidding you. This guy got kicked out of his own dad's funeral because he couldn't stop doing that.
That would be pretty terrible, I guess.
Right? You'd think it'd be amazing, but it's not.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, would you rather have that or nonstop hiccups?
That, because at least there's some enjoyable. Once in a while, it's a little enjoyable. The other times, it's not enjoyable at all.
All right.
Last one.
This is for today. Have Lamar Jackson on your fantasy team and had to have played against Geno Smith. So basically, your quarterback crushed you. Your quarterbacks alone crushed you. Or lose your sense of smell and taste for 8 months. Lose today because your quarterback.
Oh, just for one day?
Yeah, no. It's for today, right? So you have
I'm
Lamar
fine.
Jackson
Yeah, I'll lose today. I don't want to.
Geno Smith.
I don't want the other side of that coin.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect Geno Smith doesn't get to play the Detroit Lions every single week for the rest of the season.
That's fine. What was the alternative again?
Lose your sense of smell and taste.
Yeah, I love smelling things. I like when I had the COVID, like for the second time, I lost my sense of taste and smell for like, I don't know, 6 months, 5 months. It was just miserable. It was awful.
You couldn't for that long?
Yeah, I couldn't smell. Well, I could taste after about 6 weeks, but I couldn't smell. Or no. I could smell after about 6 weeks. I couldn't taste anything for like 5 months. It was awful.
See, that would be very hard for me because I smell everything first.
Right?
Everything.
Do you know what it's like not being able to taste ice cream? It's good for your diet, though.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't want to eat it.
I don't know when was the last time I had ice cream.
Oh, I eat it every day.
Wait a minute, maybe.
I had some for breakfast.
It's just sweet. That wouldn't be like, I feel like pasta would be hard. Like something savory would be really hard.
It is so good. It is so good. Hey.
Ice cream or pasta?
Both. Both are great. That's
right?
why they make you fat, because they're both so great, and you eat so much of it, you're just going to get fat no matter how much you work out. At least at my age.
Do you
All
know
right, so
what
let's come back.
try?
Huh?
I want to try some pistachio gelato.
Oh, you've never had that? It's delicious.
No.
Oh, eat the pistachio. I love pistachios. I probably had 50 before the show. Not even kidding.
Oh, no, I want to try that in the gelato.
So let's come back and do a loser board, preview the Chiefs and the Bucks, and then we got Rick Kamla coming on. Better Sports Live, host weekdays, 7 o'clock Eastern. She's Pilar, I'm Holden. Don't forget, what are you sweating out? Who is the winner today? Who's on your loser board? Hit us up in the comments. We'd love that. And find the fun button on the app. You hit it, your day is just going to go so much better. It's not even funny. Pilar, Holden, Better Zone.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Better Zone.
Network. Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing shot to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Bartlett picks the perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the imposing pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up to him. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Hugger turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP dive. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left-handed field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Better Sports Network.
Bailey Zappi makes his NFL debut, replacing an injured Brian Hoyer with 2:25 to go here at Lambeau Field. In the first quarter, with the Patriots on top 3-0 from his own 8-yard line. Early movement, it looked like Isaiah Wynn on the right side of the line for the Patriots. Stevenson behind Zappi, who turns and play fakes. He stands in. He throws it to the right partner, wide open at the 10, to the 5, to the end zone. Bailey Zappi with his first touchdown pass, and the Patriots regain the lead.
Better Zone.
Back to the Better Zone. Holden Kushner, Pilar Lastro. We got some cool stuff going on here, Pilar. It's 24-24 Patriots Packers. 11 seconds left. Patriots have the ball on their own 11 on a 4th and 1 with 4 seconds left now. This has gotten interesting. So maybe some overtime there. Arizona did end up taking out Carolina by a final score of 26-16. Kyler Murray, 207-2 and a pick. And then hello to my little friend. He is your little friend. That's why he has the afro. You know that, right? Because he's so short, he wants to look taller. I don't blame him. If I was 5'3", I'd have an afro too. 12 carries, 26 yards, and a touchdown. So nice game for Kyler Murray. He actually showed up, and he won Pilar the bet again. No twerking. Your favorite player. And here we are, 2-minute warning. Raiders leading the Broncos 32-23. And you do the leaderboard. You got to look at the running backs today. There's got to be Josh Jacobs got to be number one now, right? I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns. He's right there. He's got 28.5 half-point PPR points. So Eckler's going to be ahead of him. But Jacobs just scored a second touchdown. I'm shocked, too. This is a really good Denver defense against the run. 25 carries, 134 yards. So he averaged almost 5.5 yards per carry. 2 touchdowns, caught 5 of 7 targets for 31 yards. So he's on the winner board right now. Want to do a loser board real quick, Pilar? And then we can just go back and rehash the guys that killed us today.
The losers. Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Back, ended up 10.6 fantasy points in PPR. Jonathan Taylor. That's the biggest loser of them all this week.
Got a lot of questions about Tony Pollard this morning. Like, is Tony looks explosive? Is he going to have a big game today? And I said, I'm not playing him. He had 8 carries for 6 yards and a catch.
Right. Well, the problem is that, I mean, like in overall fantasy points, he's actually ahead of Ezekiel Elliott.
Correct.
That's but they're kind of just loving this duo thing. That's the concerning thing, is that neither one of them are screaming like, hey, get me the ball. Like, there was this article where they was talking about how Ezekiel Elliott actually says he feels like refreshed, like that he's really splitting the ball more. And so it's scary, because I do think that more running backs are going to start to request like, hey, you know what I mean? I need some help. I don't want to. You're going to get paid, especially these guys that have already gotten paid. Ezekiel Elliott already got paid. Christian McCaffrey already got paid. These guys that aren't fighting for those big contracts anymore. Yeah. Hey, keep my health. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. As far as the wide receivers that let us down, I mean, I feel like just Adam Thielen, we were expecting he's at 15.
Yeah, he did all right he finally showed up.
Brown, I was expecting a little bit more than 14.5 fantasy points. He's sitting at 18. I did expect more from him. Jamar Chase, he's finishing 24th overall with 12 fantasy points in PPR. Your boy Michael Pittman, he's 50th, 6 fantasy points, and that's because half of those fantasy points are from his 3 receptions. So
Lamar Jackson had a down day in the weather, 13.06. He was 18th out of fantasy quarterbacks today. Jacoby Brissett, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones, Goff, Smith, they all finished ahead of him. So that was a little tough. I know people were starting Marcus Mariota too. I mean, he'd had a couple of good weeks start the season, but he did nothing today. 3.86 points. So that's not good. Quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence. There's a lot of hype for Trevor Lawrence. He ran into a tough defense today. What's your take on Trevor Lawrence going forward, though? You buying into this offense?
No, I'm not.
No.
No, I'm not. I got 99 problems, and Trevor Lawrence is not one of them.
Yeah, what are you off of the Jags for? Just because you don't believe in them? The weapons aren't there? What is it?
Yeah, all of the above. Like, well, I mean, I can't say that too, right? Because they had a hot start to the season, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, where are they going to finish overall in their division? I mean, this is really the first one where it was like, well, the Eagles are looking really good. So is Jacksonville. Where are they going to finish? Well, this is the first one that was like 2 teams that were looking really, really good going into this game had to face each other, and the Eagles came out ahead. So yeah, I'm not buying into this one. I can't.
All right. I'm not buying into Mike Boone. They better have Javonte back, because Melvin Gordon fumbles. Mike Boone just dropped a wide open pass that would have helped me cover, but he dropped it. So
the good news
shit happens.
For Matt Deutsch, it looks like Carr's getting back into the game. So
yeah, Carr's coming back. Mike Boone, you suck. The Broncos dropped to 2-2. I guess there's good news though. Russell Wilson looks like he's actually alive. And then we got Kamla coming up here pretty soon, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Rick Kamla joining us very soon. But Sunday Night Football, we'll talk to him about this. Pilar, this line has been all over the place. It opened Bucks 2.5-point favorites. A couple of days later, it was Chiefs -1.5. Then it gets the Chiefs -2. Then it swings all the way back. The sharp money's coming in on the Bucks here, -2. So the Buccaneers are favored by 2 points. The total here is 47. That's come down just a little bit. Most of the bets are on the Chiefs. 69% of the bets placed at DraftKings, just 31% on Tampa Bay. But the money is pushing the number the other way, Pilar, and that makes me think that Tampa Bay is going to win this game.
So people are favoring Chiefs +2.
Well, no. They're back in the Buccaneers is what this is.
Oh, they're back in the Buccaneers.
Almost 70% of the bets are on the Kansas City Chiefs. So, but the money that is coming in, called the handle, that has moved the line toward Tampa Bay. So the sharp money, the guys that we think know what they're doing,
right,
are pushing the line there. And that would make me a little bit hesitant backing the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, if that's what you're going to do.
So I know I got in on this earlier today with the under being, I went under 46 for the total.
You went under 46 on the total.
Yeah,
okay.
You're saying it's 47 now, is what you're saying. So earlier in the day, I came in, I took the under at 46. And
yeah, so a little money came in, pushed the total up, and a lot of money coming in on the Bucks heading into tonight's game. My best bet from here, under 3.5 receptions for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm just wondering what I wonder what Kamla thinks about Tom Brady tonight. And he's here, Rick Kamla, Better Sports Live, weekdays, 7:00 Eastern time, in the evening, of course. Rick, welcome back to the show. How are you? Let's talk some Sunday Night Football and everything else. But before we do that, do you have your notes sheet in front of you? Because I want to see how many notes you took today.
I don't. I've had a different. Well, what's up? Great to be back on with you both. I've had a different day today. It's I'm coming out of Hurricane Ian. So it's been life has been very juggled and juxtaposed and all that kind of stuff. So I've been consuming football. I've been too busy with some other stuff, helping out with my little daughter to take all those notes. But next Sunday I will be back at it. But what's up? What's good, man? What are you guys talking about here today?
Hey, so real quick though, I mean, our thoughts are with you. All this disaster that's going in for everybody that's had to either have a loved one or endure this themselves. It's very scary. It really does suck. So my thoughts are with you. If anybody that's out there watching this has the opportunity to help in any way that you can, please do, because it's very heartbreaking what's happening.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. We thank you, God. It's worked out, pretty well for us. Minimal damage. A lot of other people in Florida obviously have a different story to tell. So Pilar, I appreciate that, and I echo those sentiments to all people who are dealing with the present tense and the past tense of Ian. It was no joke, man.
Yeah, totally. So, and it's, I know that they're putting all these images out about like these yachts and boats being crashed and, that $1 million car, like that's not even what should be covered right now. There's people that don't have access to food or getting out of high flooded areas. So anything that you guys can do, and listen, sometimes it's just, if you can't do anything, you can just send out good thoughts for everybody who's had to deal with this. So having said that, let's send out some good thoughts to Sunday night's game. Do you have any skin in tonight's game? There's a lot of prop bets kind of going all over the place. Anything in particular that you've seen tonight? I know there's the Travis Kelce over 6.5 catches. I took the over that. I also took the over 68.5 receiving yards. What are your thoughts? You think I'm going to win, lose, or draw on this one?
Well, I like the yardage over. I'm a guy that I like to look at small reception numbers and then try to go over it. If it's 6.5, 7.5, 8.5 numbers like that, I tend to stay away from that and look more at the yardage, because you can get a couple 3-chunk plays and have a big yard per average in that particular game and get to the yardage without getting to the catches. That's just my personal vibe on it. I would go over on Kelsey. And look, it's a tough matchup. It is not a great matchup, but like the calendar is really weird for me, guys, the week that I've just had. So I seem to recall loving Travis Kelce's over last week, and it did not hit. And I like the boomerang effect on that and the bounce back effect on that. It is a tough matchup. You've got Winfield. You've got Mike Edwards. You've got one of the best safety groups in the league, great cornerbacks. But it's Mahomes, and I like it. So I would go over on the yardage. I would. I'm feeling that.
All right. So I'm going to ask you another one here. Jerick McKinnon over 17.5 rushing yards. So this one's kind of tricky, right? Because we see him on the field a lot. He's definitely in there for the snaps, but we still see Edwards-Helaire while he's struggling. I don't like anything to do with either one of these. 17.5 rushing yards seems a bit conservative for Jerick McKinnon, but this is a pretty tough front seven that these running backs are going to be facing tonight. What are your thoughts on? I'm telling people to go no on everything with Edwards, Helaire, but Jerick McKinnon over 17.5 rushing yards. You're feeling a little risky?
I'm not. As Clint Eastwood once said, I don't feel lucky, punk, to answer his question. Remember that? Do you feel lucky, punk? No, I don't feel lucky on that. Tampa Bay has had, and you guys know this, Tampa Bay has had an elite run defense as far back as I can remember, okay? With at least in recent years, very little interruption to that. It's a wasteland for running backs. The New Orleans Saints come to mind. They're a team that's very, very hard to run against all of the time, every single year. And in Baltimore Tampa Bay is a team like that as well. And Andy Reid is so diverse in his backfield. You might get a little Pacheco, Edwards-Helaire. And I can't promise that Jerick McKinnon's going to get to 17.5, but it'd be a stay away from me, a kind of a random number on a random player. But hey, Sunday Night Football, it's all we got tonight. If I had to play it, I would play the under, Pilar.
Okay. Rick, talk to us here. What really stood out to you from today's game? And you could start with that Detroit-Seattle game if you want to. You can go anywhere you want. But what were the 2 or the 3 biggest storylines that we've had here?
Well, in terms of, I'll go to the game that you were talking about. I hung in there with Jared Goff. I hope a lot of other people did in a 2-quarterback league, in that just track meet of a game between Seattle and Detroit. Because without Swift and without Amon-Ra St. Brown, oh my God, do I play Goff here? I went ahead and played him. He had an absolutely massive game. That stands out to me. Obviously, Geno Smith looking great, throwing the ball deep, getting DK Metcalf involved. DK Metcalf's eruption on the sideline in the San Francisco game worked. It got Pete Carroll talking about getting him the ball. Last week, good game. This week exploded. And so all is right with that. Rashad Penny. What a massive game he had. Hawkinson, massive game. I've got him in a league, and what was cheering for all those goodies right there. Definitely the fantasy feast of the day, no doubt about it. So another big standout here, Holden, is let's go to Pittsburgh and the quarterback change that we saw. And what a story that was, right? Mitch Trubisky face planning. He should have never won the job. I said it on a variety of platforms. I saw enough of Kenny Pickett in the preseason where I thought he should have won the job. You know how NFL coaches are. They're stubborn. They're stuck in this old mindset of, we got to play the vet. No, the hell you don't. And so now Pittsburgh's got upside. And they lose today in spite of the Kenny Pickett, 2 rushing touchdowns. The crowd's going nuts. You could see the look on the faces of the Steelers fans. They were like, finally, our savior is here. No more Mitch Trubisky, right? And then for Zach Wilson to go in his first game back to go do and make a million clutch throws and get the Jets to buzzkill the Kenny Pickett breakout party at Acrisure, formerly Heinz Field. What a story. I can tell you this. Kenny Pickett lost, but he won that job. They're not going back to Mitch after what we saw today.
And Pickens seems like he has a little connection with Pickens too, which is very important for a lot of us. I love me some Pickens. What do you have? 6 catches today? So
he was nice. So, and we saw that in the preseason. Right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, this guy is getting the ball to the playmakers. Mitch Trubisky is not. Mitch and Freiermuth vibe. That was it. Mitch and the tight end, right? So, Holden, I'm with you. I think Pickens is a move ahead guy here for people. If you want to, he's alive, right? He's activated. Okay. So now if we want to go over on props, if we want to put him in our starting lineups, we want to put him in our flex spot, like he's arrived because Kenny Pickett is now the QB.
Let's talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys. Rumor has it you're quite the fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush undefeated. And there's talks about Dak Prescott eyeing coming back next week, as early as next week. I mean, you should be fix something that's not broken. They're going to certainly start him, but I mean, what? I've got another. What are we at? 2 more months or till football season? I mean, till Thanksgiving. I just need a really good Thanksgiving dinner. That's all I need.
Well, Jerry was saying in an interview, probably asked, if Cooper Rush plays well enough to turn this into a QB controversy, I would love that. Just trying to gas up the backup, right? And I'm not going to go down any conspiracy theory road with you. The money finds the field. Dak Prescott makes the money. He can literally faceplant over and over and over and over again. And if he's healthy, he will play over Cooper Rush. But Pilar, Cooper Rush is now 4-0, I believe, as a starter going back to last year in the start against Minnesota. So what he is a bridge quarterback. He's in the class of the Jacoby Brissett's, a Teddy Bridgewater. He's a bridge quarterback. He can take you over a short period of time and keep the wheels on the track. And it was impressive. It really was to see what he's been doing, to see what he did today. I love the running touchdown to the right and throwing it for the TD there late in the game. He's made clutch throws. He really has. He's been a game manager, and I don't want to get like too crazy here, but there was a deep crosser he threw to Noah Brown over the defenders. It was an absolute dime. And so he's making some talented throws. Like what my sort of epiphany here is that, okay, Dallas has their backup. Like they don't need to go trade for this guy. They don't need to go trade for that guy. Like if there's trouble with Dak, Cooper Rush is now a bridge quarterback. He's proven that to me.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
It's nice to know that in such a scary situation, like your starting quarterback would go down, that they do have a quarterback that's going to be able to carry the team. I'm not going to lie. I was extremely concerned when the news hit that, Dak was going to miss some time. I was like, there goes. I feel bad for anybody in fantasy who has any of the wide receivers there. I feel like, this is going to be just terrible for a fan to watch them play. But fortunately, it's actually been quite opposite. Really been quite opposite. So it's been very refreshing.
It's been better than the Zeke Elliott experience, right? 19 for 49 today. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing here? We said the money finds the field, though, right? And so that's why Zeke keeps getting the rock. But my God, like, wow.
DK Metcalf, this is the big story. Meladan in the chat asked why Metcalf was carted off. He has confirmed that he was carted off. That clinch walk wouldn't have made it. He had to poop.
He had to go to the bathroom.
So that's good. There were people freaking out about it being a serious injury, but no, he did not want to clinch. So congratulations to DK Metcalf. I'm glad he lived up to it. Lamar Jackson would never admit it. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, Mr. Campbell, did you take anything out of this Buffalo Baltimore game? Because the weather was a disaster, but it just reaffirms in my mind that the Bills are the head and shoulders favorite in the National Football League.
It's tough to disagree with that, man. They look like garbage in the first half of that game. The Bills did. They didn't have a plan. They were playing soft. They were getting pushed around, and they started fighting back, and it was just a boop, and the game completely turned. What I want to focus on, and I give you all of that. I give you all of that on Buffalo. We now officially have a John Harbaugh problem. Okay. If I don't know if anybody was onto this last year, I certainly was. He blew 2 games last year, going for 2-point conversions, going for 4th downs. I forget the exact scenarios, but what he did was he blew off his kicker. I believe there were both scenarios where you can kick the PAT and go to overtime, and he tried to go for 2 and missed them both. Okay. Today, what does he do? 4th down late in the game,
Oh, yeah.
and he goes for it, and they don't get it, and it was a low percentage play anyway. I didn't like the play call. I didn't like the decision to go for it. I don't know, guys. Like I said, I was too busy today to take these notes, but 4 minutes left in the game, 3.5 minutes in the game, something like that. Like at that point, you tap it in and you take the lead, right? And then you play it out. Why? You don't need a touchdown right there. Well, you go down the other end, they could score a touchdown. Yeah. And an elephant could fall out of the sky at the 50 freaking yard line. Okay. Like anything can happen. What you don't do is dishonor the game and do something that the game does not need. What would Belichick do? Tap in the field goal. Okay. What would Andy Reid do? Tap in the field goal. It's not that hard. Okay. And you know, John Harbaugh has been one of the legendary, iconic, like recent last 20-year coaches. He's been an absolute badass, but he is losing his way, yo. The analytics departments, I'm sure it's like in his ear, and they've made it like maybe an organizational move that this is how we're going to go with these scenarios. It's garbage. It's ruining the Ravens. Last year, they missed the playoffs, I believe, by 1 game. Harbaugh gave 2 away with those stupid-ass decisions, and he gave away a win today as well. So think about if you have the win total over on the Baltimore Ravens. I'm throwing stuff around my house. Like you might not have won that game, but what I know is you definitely gave away that game by going for it on that 4th down. So we can talk fantasy and all this kind of stuff, but John Harbaugh is officially in his own way of his own team right now.
Yeah, that was an interesting game at halftime. I was looking at seeing if I wanted to put any bets in, and it was Buffalo plus 13. And I was like, should I take it? Should I take it?
Hold on. I did hit Buffalo.
Did you?
On the money line when they were
and
down.
it was like moving fast, because while I was looking at it, within a minute, it went from like plus 11 to plus 13. And I was like, then is it going to go over the 54? Like it became really interesting. Right before halftime when I was looking to see what bets. I didn't do it because then I felt that one was a little bit more conservative when I was able to take the Texans plus 23.5 at halftime after their 21-0 performance before halftime. I felt that the other one was just a little bit more conservative, but that one was one that the lines were looking very interesting right around halftime.
Yeah, I hit it at Buffalo plus 6.5. So that's what it was. I mean, at that point, the Bills, as horrible as they looked in the first half, they didn't come back. Josh Allen's just that good. And the fact of the matter is this also, the weather was just brutal, and it did suppress a lot of the offense. I'd like to see these two teams play. It could be cold. I want to see these two teams play dry field, playoffs, Buffalo. The Ravens are still the inferior team, right, Rick? But It would be nice to see these two teams play without all the crazy conditions that we saw today. Real quick, get your thoughts on tonight's game. What do we got tonight and what do we got tomorrow? Any bets? Any thoughts?
It's hard for me to roll with Tampa Bay right now. They've been an absolute dumpster fire all year long. Kansas City's had their act together all year long, with a hiccup here and there. But, I mean, it's been a festival of hiccups for the Buccaneers. We talked last Sunday about that puke bucket Green Bay Tampa Bay game, right? So they're coming off that, and they're at home, and the weather's very, very nice down here in Tampa right now. But in case he's coming to town, I like the Chiefs tonight. I really do, and I need to see the Buccaneers show me they have their stuff together. Show me that they can run. They're running the hell out of Leonard Fournette, and as a Fournette manager in a very important league, I appreciate that. But with 2.5 yards a carry, whatever it is, I mean, he did run well in week 1, week 2, and it's been weird. So can you open holes? Can you create room for him? Can you buy time for Tom Brady? Because if you give Brady time, he will slice and dice. If you do not give Brady time, he will turtle up, and the offense will cave in. And Kansas City's defense, frankly, has been showing me some spark so far this year. I mean, I'm not going to, say they're elite or top 10 or anything like that, but they've had more life than they had last year. So Pilar and Holden, I like the Kansas City Chiefs tonight to come down here to Tampa and beat the Buccaneers. And if I see differently from the Buccaneers, okay, the Bucs have arrived. Kind of like Denver. I mean, they had a pulse today, right? I mean, damn, Wilson's throwing touchdowns. They had a friggin' pulse today, okay, after not having a pulse the whole year. Like, I need to see a pulse from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before I pick them to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's where I'm at with that.
The only player I feel like in Tampa Bay that I'm really like, hey, I'm okay on, and I'm okay on the over, and that's Mike Evans. He's the one that I feel the most comfortable starting, every week that he's going to play in my lineups and season longs. He's the one that I don't know if I necessarily am okay paying his price tag in daily. Although tonight I feel like he's one that I certainly am, when you're looking at at what your options are. But, Mike Evans, with the prop bet that I took, was over 68.5 receiving yards. I like that one. I do think he's really the only one. I said no to Tom Brady over 263 passing yards. I didn't like that. Mike Evans is really the only one in Tampa Bay that I feel comfortable trusting.
I love your read on it. And Tom Brady, when we find out Julio's back, and Gage and Godwin and all these guys and Evans, all right. And so, all right, now we can start having a conversation about taking the over on his yardage total. And look, Vegas has dropped it down a little bit, but that's still a pretty high number. That's not 235, 241 or something like that, where it's like, all right, Brady may actually hit this. That's still a pretty rich number. But I do like Mike Evans at 68.5. He's obviously a bread and butter guy for Tom Brady. And I like it. He's coming off the suspension. I think there's going to be a thrust to get him the rock. Like they always get him the rock, right? 8, 9, 10, 11 targets. But we are going to look. The Mike Tirico, one of my favorite of all time, is going to be talking about Mike Evans scoring a touchdown tonight. Okay, I feel better about that than and I'm sure they're flat odds on that than I do the over at 68.5. But Pilar, I do like the over at 68.5. I'm with you on that one.
All right, cool.
All right, Rick, where can we catch you this week on the Bettor Network, my friend?
All right, so tomorrow night I will not be on Bettor Sports Live. I'm going to be flying to San Antonio. I work at SiriusXM NBA Radio. They're flying me to San Antonio to interview the Spurs on Tuesday. I'm then flying out of San Antonio back here to Tampa. I don't know if I'm going to get back here in time for Bettor Sports Live. So Wednesday for sure. Tuesday is a maybe, but it doesn't look good for Tuesday because they don't have direct flights out of San Antonio. I'm going to have to connect in, I don't know, Kansas City or Atlanta
or Atlanta.
Yeah. And so it's quite the journey from Tampa to San Antonio, but I'm excited about the trip and super excited to get back on the air here on Wednesday night.
Yeah. And you know what? Normally you're on weeknights, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. But I want you to know I'm happy you're going to go to San Antonio, get some tamales, get some good tacos, get some really good food, man.
The Riverwalk. Yeah. I like it. People, it's touristy and all this kind of stuff. Well, what the hell? I don't live there. Okay. I'm in town here and there. It's a fun place to go. By the way, super excited that Lisa Ann will be joining the show, not just this Wednesday, but all Wednesdays moving forward in that 7 to 10 Eastern window. So we are reuniting from our days together at Fantasy Sports Radio over at SiriusXM, and I am super geeked to be working with her, collaborating with her, spending time with her. Love me some Lisa Ann, and so we're look all the way up to Matt Deutsch, all the bosses. Everybody's excited about it. I'm excited about it. Lisa Ann's excited about it, and so Wednesday night will be the debut.
Awesome. So, and then make sure that you guys are catching them every weeknight, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Good stuff, Rick. Thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate it. It's a nice window for me to hang out with you guys on Sunday. We want to keep this going. We can, but I appreciate you guys, man. Enjoy, and may all your bets come up winners tonight in Sunday Night Football.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Rick Cameron.
Sure.
Have a good trip. Have a good trip, my friend.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah. Enjoy San Antonio. That's my hometown. That's where I grew up.
Oh, nice. So. I didn't know that. Yep. Very cool.
That's where I'm from. So travel safe, my friend.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks.
All right, good stuff there as always from Rick. Hey, let's
I'm just to let y'all know, tomorrow he's not going to be on the show for Bettor Sports Live tomorrow night, but tomorrow I am going to be joining Dr. Roto on that. So
you and Dr. Roto.
A little bit more. If Sunday night after this 3 hours with me is not enough, you can still get more. Tomorrow night I will be hosting from 7 to 9. So,
all right. So let's talk about good 7 to 9 tomorrow night. We love Pilar. Check it out. That's Eastern time.
Myself and Dr. Roto.
And Dr.
Totally.
Pilar.
The doctor will be in the office.
All right, let's get you play of the day, whether it be season-long DFS or bets. I finished 4th in that $50 tournament. Came home with $750. Little disappointed, but I'll tell you, my guy that helped me, first it was Gino, but Hawkinson, I think he won a lot of us a lot of money
Yes,
today. 179, 2 touchdowns, 8 catches. He gets the 100-yard bonus. Thank you, TJ Hawkinson, for the money today, because that was a nice one.
For stepping up and doing what you were expected to do, and by far exceeding all of our expectations. So, yeah, I mean, just to kind of, finish things up, I feel like with the leaders and the losers, the guys that got it done for us, the guys that didn't quite get it done for us. So Jared Goff finishes in the number 1 spot tonight.
Amazing.
With 33.2.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, beautiful. Hello, Detroit, representing Detroit. And then Geno Smith right there behind him with 31 fantasy points. Russell Wilson, 27.
There you go.
Yeah, he got it done. Josh Allen, 4th. Kyler Murray, after everything. Yep, finishing off the top 5. So good to see that. A little painful for what was that?
I freaking love that. Say hello to my little friend, Kyler Murray. How tall are you, Pilar? How tall are you?
What's that?
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3". That's why when you were
You're
saying
taller than Kyler Murray. Yeah, but it's more socially acceptable for a woman to be 5'3" than an NFL quarterback.
I mean, I guess, but he still finished out in the top 5. So I don't care how tall he is. He still got it done for fantasy owners. Aaron Rodgers owners, he finished out 12th with 16 fantasy points. Jalen Hurts, 15.9 fantasy points. Those are the ones that probably Lamar Jackson was the other one.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, I know, Matt Deutsch, you did not get your bet, did you? I mean,
I'm never doing drugs again.
Yeah, but he won the other 2, didn't he? Let's give him a little.
He's not using Carr again, or he or she. I don't know if that's
no.
We're good. They're not using Carr again. I don't blame you. I mean, hey, Carson Wentz, 7.3 fantasy points. What? Yeah. What? This was like the Sam Darnold. Like, guys, he started hot because of his matchups.
He's hot garbage. Yeah, it's over.
Been brought to reality.
It's over. Stick a fork in it. So I'll also say this: your leading running back did not see this coming. Josh Jacobs against that Broncos defense, he ends up with 29.5 half-point PPR. So you might have someone else. You might have Eckler in PPR. Yeah. Pilar, you could tell me, is it Eckler still?
Yeah.
But Jacobs
only by 0.40 fantasy points. Yeah. That's how close it was.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs sunk me in that DFS contest, but he was good to his managers tonight. 5 catches, 31 yards, couple touchdowns, 28 for 144. And Pilar didn't have to work. No, that was because of Kyler Murray.
That was because of Kyler Murray.
He was a live bet
people, we stick together.
Yeah. 2-1 on the live bets, Pilar. Eckler, and then Penny, Sanders, and Jamal Williams. And then we got wide receiver, right? Anybody step up late here? No, it was pretty quiet in the afternoon slate. Outside of Hollywood Brown is like legit now. He looks comfortable with Kyler. Can't believe I'm saying that. 88 yards and a touchdown off 6 catches, 11 targets. He's a thing, Pilar. He's a thing. I really think Marquise Brown is going to be a front end wide receiver 2, maybe even he's going to be a back end wide receiver 1 quite a bit because he has been heavily targeted.
Yeah. Yep. So finishing out the night for your top 5 wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, Tyree Kill, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, and CD Lamb. So there you have it, my friends.
And TJ Hawkinson, baby.
And that's all we need to know. TJ Hawkinson killed it. Kyle Pitts did not show up. There you go.
TJ Hawkinson did, thank God. Pilar, we'll catch you tomorrow night, 7 to 9 Eastern with Dr. Roto.
Right here, same place, my friends. Join in.
Thanks to everybody behind the scenes. My best bet for tonight, Edwards-Helaire, under 3.5 catches. I wouldn't take any juice, more than minus 135.
Introducing our